As a look at high school baseball and softball tonight. Of course, we just celebrated a 12th region championship for the Southwestern girls basketball team as they made the trip to Rupp Arena. Quite an accomplishment. And now joining me here is head coach of the Southwestern Lady Warriors softball team, and Jared Sumner. And first of all, Coach, welcome. It's good to see you here.
Good to be here.
As a coach and part of the athletic staff at Southwestern, it's got to make you feel good to see, you know, the other sports, whether your girls cross over or not. You got to love the fact that they brought a championship to Southwestern High School.
Yeah, I think we had 8 girls that played basketball that are back to playing softball now, and we hate to see their run in, but you know, they had a heck of a season. We're glad to have them back now, though.
And the thing with that is you don't get to practice softball for a while, but you're glad to be able to do that, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Well, very good. Coach, first of all, you have been part of the Southwestern, I think you told me off air, 7 years. This is your 7th season.
Yeah.
Of course, last year just kind of is going to have a big asterisk and a big blank beside of it.
That last year would have been one of the best teams we had since I'd been there, and we had seniors Madison Gaskin, Lily Turpin, and Katie Conley, and Leah Thacker. You know, I just want to mention them. They didn't get to play their senior season, but, you know, they were great contributors to the program over the years, and, you know, sad to see them not get their senior year.
Yeah, and that had to be just a little bit strange how you deal that. You're used to coaching, and granted, coaching is all about relationships and all of that and getting these girls. But how do you know? It had to be heartbreaking.
I had more time at home, and the wife put me to work more in the yard and stuff like that. But yeah.
So what you're saying this spring, there's going to be more weeds out in the front yard?
More weeds in the backyard, that's for sure.
All right. Well, we get into this season, and when we talk about missing last season, what has been your approach coming into this 2021 season? Have you been preparing like everything's going to be normal or semi-normal?
Yeah, what hurts the most is like some of the younger girls that are now sophomores and juniors now. They didn't get to play last year, so that puts everybody in that age group, kids, especially the kids that wasn't going to play varsity last year. You know, that time on the field as a JV player, they missed all that, so you know they're set back a year. We're just trying to catch them up and doing a lot of hitting in the infield and stuff like that. You know, trying to get them caught up to where they need to be.
Weather-wise, spring, it's always a crapshoot. It seems like every year, you know, as to being able. Have you been able to get some quality time outdoors on the field?
Absolutely. We were going to go on the field today, and it started sprinkling. I said, well, no chance of rain. We might as well go inside. But we've been on the field a lot.
Now, you've started your season.
Yep.
Had a few games already. How are things going in the early part?
We're 4-3. We played Boyle County the first game, you know, along with Pulaski. You know, they're one of the top teams in the region. You know, Pulaski, they keep getting a vote every week to be ranked number 1 in the state, so they got to be doing something right over there.
But you know there will be a date on the field when you can have, you know, maybe change that number once or twice. But this is the look at baseball and softball here from Buffalo Wings and Rings right here on South 27. Come on down and join us. We're going to be talking to all 3 softball coaches and all 3 baseball coaches. And right now, Jared Sumner of the Southwestern Lady Warriors. Coach, go through your team a little bit. Tell us about who you've got, you know, and what you expect to see out of these young ladies.
5 seniors. Caitlin Gwynn, she's been a starter for me since she was in 7th grade, I believe. Olivia Wiles been a starter since she was in 7th grade. Grace Akers, she's a senior this year. Alexis Smitty, she come back out to play softball this year, and she's already had a big impact with us. And there's one more senior, Marissa Lovelace.
Another basketball player.
She'll be starting center fielder, and you know, Smitty is, you know, like when I noticed early on, like when she would come hit and stuff, you know, she's a leader. You know, everybody, you know, ups their game when she's there. Caitlin Gwynn the same way, but you know, those are the 5 seniors that we have this year.
That leadership from those kinds of girls. And you know, leadership is leadership. It doesn't know one sport from the other.
Absolutely.
And if you were joined us earlier, of course, Mike Hurt had talked with some of those girls and celebrating that 12th region championship. And he talked about Alexa's leadership, and so did Coach Molden about, you know, and sometimes you lead by, you know, a little hooting and hollering, but other times you lead by example and the things you do, and it's not just hard work but smart work.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Coach, of course, good senior leadership on this squad. Who else you got going to line up for you this
Jessie
year?
Begley, she'll be pitching a lot for us, playing shortstop. Ashton Hines, Taylor Nelson, another basketball player. Her and Amy Johnson going to play a lot of first base. Seventh grader Kylie Dalton, Coach Kevin Dalton, who helps me. It's his daughter. She's really hit the ball well early on as a seventh grader. Hannah Thompson, she's another junior, that's trying to earn a spot in the lineup. Her and Amy Johnson as well. But we got 3 middle schoolers. Troxel girl, she's a 8th grader. Then the McDonald girl and Callie Dalton are the 2 7th graders that we've got pulled up. But we got a young bunch of kids. Madeline Peterson, Alyssa Raleigh, Brian Troxel, Abigail Waters, Sydney Hanson. She's going to pitch for us down the road. And she's working really hard at pitching, getting a lot better at hitting. Catherine Carrington, Coach Carrington's daughter. Peyton Acey come out for basketball too. And Hannah Ellis. And Ashton Hines, she'll be our leadoff hitter. She started, I think this is her 5th year starting for us. She's played a lot of outfield. She'll play some infield and outfield. But we got a lot of speed, and this is the most athletic team I've had so far. And Kinsley Molden, she come out from basketball, so she's there now. Sarah Neal. But
well, it sounds like you and Coach Molden work real well together, sharing girls, and that's fantastic. There's in this day and age, it seems like so many kids want to specialize, or maybe they're feeling the pressure to specialize. But when I talk to recruiters, especially in football, because I deal more there, but they say they love the kids that are multi-sport kids that are just having fun at the high school level.
Smitty, she likes to give me a hard time, and I reminded her the other day that in 7th grade she came out and played 4 games, I think, and she had a home run against South Laurel, and told me the next day she was going to concentrate on basketball. So she made a pretty good choice.
I was going to say that did work out rather well for her.
We're lucky to have her back as a senior, and she don't have AAU and stuff this spring, so I think she'll enjoy it. She seems like she's having a good time so far. So Brooklyn Markham's another outfielder that I didn't mention. She's got a lot of chances early on here, and she'll see some playing time in the outfield.
Well, good. We look forward to getting out there and watching you guys. And you mentioned a couple of your coaches. Tell us about them and how long they've been with you.
Kevin Dalton, he's helped me. This is his 3rd year. Coach Kosmecki, he's helped me in the past. He's had some stuff going on at work, so he's not been around much. But, pretty much it's me and Kevin right now.
So you rely on some of that senior leadership we talked about to help.
Absolutely.
Coach, what you mentioned you've got a lot of speed, indicate you're probably going to use some of that speed maybe to try and manufacture runs. Well, overall, what is your philosophy how do you adapt your philosophy?
If I could find a couple of them that could get a bunt down, I'd be in great shape. But we've got a lot of speed, and I like to hit and run a lot, put the runners in motion. But I'm not a big, small ball. If it comes down to it and I need to move the runners over, I don't care to bunt. But I like to let the players swing away and hit. And like I said, we'll hit and run quite a bit. But I've never been much on small ball. Sometimes, I hate to play yourself out of an inning, especially when I'd rather take my chances with 2, 3, 4 up and, try to bunt and move them over. But defense is our main thing. If we can play good defense, we can play with a lot of teams.
Talk about your defense. How are you going to line up around the infield?
We'll have Taylor Nelson and Amy Johnson will be at first some, and when Caitlin Gwynn's not pitching, she'll play some first, and Olivia Wiles will be at second. She's been there for 6 years.
I was going to say, I've had her name in my scorebook for many years, seems like.
Jessie Begley will play some short, and Ashton Hines and Smitty will play some short and third. Alyssa Raleigh will play some third base, and Kylie Dalton and Smitty will be doing the majority of the catching. Then pitching will be Begley and Hines, or not Hines, but Gwynn. And Sydney Hanson will get us some time on the mound. And Jordy McDonald, she's 7th grader. She's going to get a lot of time on JV and might get to throw a little bit of varsity. The outfield will have Ashton Hines probably be left field, Johnson in center, and Markham or Johnson maybe in right field. But Lovelace will be center field the majority of the time. And we got a lot of options. Kinsley Molden, we had her in practice playing shortstop. She gloves it well. But we got a whole lot of options around the infield. Alyssa Raleigh plays a lot of infield for us. But, like I said, it's we got 13, 14 players. I wouldn't care to put varsity in the meantime.
Coach, the game of softball, high school, fast pitch softball, I think my daughter was a senior in high school when the KHSAA made that switch.
Yeah.
And this area was really behind,
Yeah.
you know, in terms of being able to put quality pitchers out there.
Yeah.
Now, this area has become well known for its softball play at all of our local schools.
Yeah. They pitching's where it's at. You know, if you got a pitcher who can shut somebody down, he can score a couple runs, you can win. Pulaski's been fortunate enough last 7 or 8 years. You know, they've had a dominant pitcher the whole time. You know, and we're getting there. But you got to score runs too. And it's all part of it.
Pitching's a little bit different for the game of softball versus baseball. You don't have pitch counts or the number of times or innings that a player can pitch. Matter of fact, they can play a whole state tournament in 1 or 2 days because you just keep going one after another.
Yeah.
A lot of folks want to say, well, you only need one pitcher at this level.
If you've got one dominant, you might be able to ride them out like that. But, I mean, you know, in our situation, we've got 2 really, really good pitchers. Caitlin, she threw a no-hitter at Wayne County the other night and struck out all 9 batters she faced.
Awesome.
But, you know, we play Estill County tomorrow night, and we're going to see a dominant pitcher. They say they have a really good pitcher. I've not seen her play, but I've talked to several coaches, and they've, you know, talked about her, and she's supposed to be really dominant. Coach,
also, if you know, it's a short infield. I mean, they play on 60-foot bases.
Oh,
yeah. I admire those girls, especially the third baseman.
Exactly.
And when they play inside the bag, even coming up, man, they're set up. Talk a little bit about some of the developments over the last couple years in safety for these girls, because you're starting to see a lot more girls wear face masks in the field.
First and third, it's mandatory. First, third, and pitcher wear them. I make all my infielders wear them, second and short too. And the majority of the players and coaches do on the infield just because of that. But, you know, last year I seen a couple girls in the outfield wearing them, and I seen a couple girls in the outfield that needed to be wearing them. But
well, I promise you, if I played any kind of ball, I caught a few of them off of my face, so I needed to have the mask. But, well, very good. Tell me about your schedule, what you've got coming up here in the near future, and what it looks like, and, you know.
Well, we're getting into district games now. We played Wayne County this week, and next week we play McCrary twice in Wayne County. But like I said, we got Estill County tomorrow night, then we got Corbin, Lincoln, Taylor County coming up, and the big game against Pulaski on May 6th at Southwestern. That's a game we're all looking forward to, I'm sure.
We will be there.
Countywide, they're looking forward to it. And, we, like I said, we opened up against Boyle County. They're a really good team. And, the 12th region, you know, it's top heavy. There's 3 or 4 teams at the top, and there's the middle section. And, you know, we'll see how it plays out. But I think early on, you know, Pulaski, Boyle County, Rockcastle. Rockcastle's got a really good pitcher. You know, we're right there in the mix. I think, you know, we're right, you know, 3rd or 4th, 5th, 6th, right in there somewhere maybe. And you keep working hard and things play all right our way. You know, I think we'll be all right and ready to go by the time region gets here.
Very good. Coach,
we win the district, we get to host the region this year too. So
okay, so that is if you win district, you get to host.
Yeah, we were supposed to do last year, and we finally found out this week that if we win the district, we'll still get to host the region like we were supposed to do last year.
All right, in your district, you face in
Wayne
competition Wayne and McCrary.
That's all that's in it right now, and I assume Somerset Christian's coming at some point, but.
Well, we will be talking to their coach, Alan Fisher, later on tonight, and I think they have 2 years. They have to play a schedule before they're eligible.
Yeah.
But
we're trying to help Alan out, you know, from field supplies and stuff like that, you know. And if anybody out in the public, you know, that's a program that, you know, if you're looking to sponsor or, you know, help a program out or anything like that, you know, it'd be good to contact Alan Fisher, something like that.
Good deal. We've talked about your players. We talked about your coaching staff. You've got some personnel at home, too. That
well, I forgot about my main assistant coach. He's standing over here staring out the window. Hey, come here a minute. This is one of we've taught him how to run the scorebook or the iPad, and he likes to go to games with us. He's at practice every day and hangs out. My little girl, she's out there in the lobby with my wife. Hopefully they've been waited on and got some food ready by the time I get back out there.
That'll be good as well. I know you said last year, you know, you got to spend more time with your family, and that's always important. But, you know, wives are special in this business because they know the time that you put into this. And if you didn't put that time in it, you just probably, like most guys I know, wouldn't be doing this.
She's been very supportive of me, and I thank her for that. And, I don't get to spend much time with the kids, so I take every advantage I get right now.
Well, and creating memories, that's what it's all about, not just for your kids, but the whole team. They're all your kids. But
exactly.
Real quick, due to COVID and restriction, are there any restrictions on being able to come to the ball games right now that you're aware of?
Well, at home we're allowed 6 parents or 6 fans per player.
Okay, so that's a pretty good number.
Like tomorrow night we go to Estill County and there's only 2 per player. So
okay,
the north end it's not as relaxed as it is down here yet, but so far when we go on the north end like that, there's usually 2 per player.
All right. Anything else you'd like to share?
Thank a couple sponsors. Don Franklin Auto, they're a good sponsor for us. Gary Sewell at Sports Den. If you need anything sports-wise, you can go see Gary. Ed Barnes Cleaning and Willie Dick Commercial Printing. He does all our printing stuff for us, and he's a friend of the family. And anything you need printed like that, go see Willie at Commercial Printing.
All right, absolutely. Well, that's just about going to wrap up this segment of look at high school softball. And
I appreciate you all doing this every day.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you, and we look forward to getting out there to Southwestern and watching, and we're going to have some other games involved. And
come out there and we'll feed you good.
Well, I'm a fan of being fed well.
Me too. I like
Indeed. Sign me up.
You want to say something?
But no.
Go Warriors.
All right.
Hold on.
Go Warriors.
All right. Folks, that's going to do it for this segment. We're going to step out, take a break. Come on down to Buffalo Wings and Rings on South Highway 27, just across from the Somerset Mall. They've got all kinds of specials. There's stuff being given away, and you need to come in, have a bite to eat, and help support these kids. They work hard all year, and some of them waited a couple years to get to this point this spring, so come on out. Coach Sumner, I appreciate you, and we'll see you down the road out at Southwestern.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I understand we're still on the air. We're not taking a break in between till I get done talking to Coach Michael Gover. Or no, we're going to switch out and live and everything? Oh, okay. You still need? I'm staying on. All right, well, there you go. See, that's what happens when you don't make it to the production meetings. You don't know what you're doing. And, of course, that's been said about me more often than not. But we're awaiting head coach of the Southwestern Warrior baseball team, Michael Gover, and he's going to make his way out here, and we'll talk to him for, 15 or 20 minutes or so as he'll come in. And, hey, get on down here to Buffalo Wings and Rings. You got to check out some of this food. Now, earlier today, and I know it's a wing place, it's a burger place, an onion ring place, but I got to tell you, I had the Old Bay shrimp. Good stuff, man. They're not paying me to say that. If you like fried shrimp, it's the best fried shrimp anywhere you'll ever eat. And I'm talking about I've eaten some fried shrimp somewhere in a lot of good places. But come on by, check that out. They've got delicious wings, whether you want the boneless kind, which – I say aren't really wings, but that's an argument for another point. But they're delicious. The boneless wings, the bone-in wings, if you like traditional. So come by and check us out, Buffalo Wings and Rings, across from the Somerset Mall on South Highway 27. And Coach Gover has made his way in. And I'm going to turn you up first of all. How are you, Coach?
Man, we're doing great. How about you guys?
We are fantastic.
Awesome.
So, it's baseball season. Been a long time since you've said that.
600 and some odd days, they say.
And you've been coach for how long?
Well, a year and a half now. we just got to play our first games a couple weeks ago.
Right.
So we're excited.
Indeed. And, Coach, first of all, welcome. Glad to have you.
Yeah,
appreciate you coming out. And we always like to do this and meet with the coaches, talk a little bit about what's going on this season. You baseball season, it's here. You had, last year you were supposed to, enjoy your first season, I guess, and
Right.
that never happened.
Yeah.
Tell us about that from your personal standpoint.
Well, for us, man, we put in a lot of hard work. I think we started around the 15th of October last year, conditioning, hitting, lifting, running, throwing. We got one scrimmage game in, and then we were actually supposed to play our second scrimmage game against South Laurel. It got postponed because they were playing in the girls' state tournament, so they wanted to go up there. And then we're at practice, and you start hearing all this stuff come through social media. The tournament's getting canceled, the College World Series gets canceled, and then all of a sudden, you get it, well, hey, you guys are done for a couple weeks. We'll be back in touch. And, of course, it just kind of drug on, and then you just feel like you get that rug pulled out from underneath you. And you hated it for the guys that, didn't get their senior season in, but you also hate it for the younger guys, that didn't get to experience that as well. So.
Right, and and that's unfortunately for the seniors, they lost a lot of things.
They did.
I think history's going to show, they missed out on a lot of stuff, not just baseball or whatever sport,
the whole,
proms and graduation ceremonies,
everything,
but you know what? We're a nation of strong people, and we will endure. How did you deal with your kids during that time, especially that time of uncertainty, because you didn't want them to just give up because, hey, we may come back in a couple of weeks.
So we stayed in contact with everybody through, text messages, social media, that sort of thing, just kind of letting them know as much up-to-date information as we could get, what we've been hearing, and trying to encourage them on stuff that they could do on their own. Hey, keep sharp. If you can throw with a family member of some sort, try. Obviously our facilities were shut down, so we couldn't operate anything in there. But just, encouraging the kids to do as much as they could and to remain active. Don't just go home and sit and wait. So, because we never knew. We thought actually at one point, hey, we're going to get a chance to go at it, and we wanted them to be ready in case we got the phone call to say, hey, let's go for it.
So as last year was winding down, calendar year winding down, you're looking forward. Did you have to change anything in your prep routines coming into this new season?
Definitely. Like I said, we would normally start right after fall break with some conditioning, a couple days a week, hitting a little bit, running, throwing, open gym kind of stuff. But with all the guidelines and all the, hey, if you use the weight room, you've got to sanitize and all this extra stuff. So we kind of postponed that. We didn't start until right around the 1st of January when things had finally calmed down. I think we actually attempted twice to get going before then, but it seemed like every time we did, something new would spike up and, they would say, hey, the limitations are this again. So, we kind of have a couple things there that set us back even this year. And, again, we were a couple months behind getting going, so we didn't get going until right around the first of the year when typically it would have been 2 months in at that point.
All right. Couple games in, as you said.
Yes.
Do you feel like you're where you're not where you need to be, obviously, but do you feel like you're at the point probably as good as you can be, all things considered?
All things considered, yes. I mean, this group that we've got right now, they've been through a lot. Like I said, they endured things that nobody had last year, a lot of what-ifs and a lot of uncertainty of when it's going to get going, when it's not. So overall, we're pretty pleased with, I guess, physically where we're at. Now, we could still use a whole lot more conditioning and things like that, but that'll come. If you ask the guys, we work on it a little too much on the conditioning side. But they don't like to run very much. But
I can't understand that.
Yeah,
that was my favorite pastime.
That's right. Everything was.
But, all right, well, talk to us a little bit about your team. Who you got and what are you expecting?
I'll just kind of go down here, and we'll start with our freshman class. We've got 5 freshmen: Jonas Gallagher, Cameron Shipp, Hunter Lewis, Landon Brake, and Wyatt Morgan. This is a good young group. They've played a lot of baseball together growing up, and most of those guys that I've mentioned have already chipped in and played a little bit for us on the varsity level. So, we're excited about them. The sophomore class, kind of the same scenario. I've got Caleb Ramsey, Braden Morrow, Cameron Bray, John Cole, and Parker Phillips. And another good group, that they played with us a little bit last year for the first go-round, so they're just kind of learning the ropes all over again because we never got into the live game action with those guys. So, they're kind of seeing it twice right now, which is good. My junior class, Ian Maybrier, Ben Howard, Jason Adams, Travis Burton, Colton Durham, Hayden Hall, and Ben Shaw. So, got a big junior class there. Now, they were part of the group that, actually got to play. So they were freshmen. The last time we played, they played a lot of JV. So this is their first year of getting any varsity time. So that's big for them. That's a kind of a learning curve as we're learning as we go. Now, my seniors, I've got Riley McBride, Tyler Pumphrey, Tucker Howard, Micah Mullins, and Austin Baker. Out of that group, they've been with us a couple years, so we've got a little experience there. Still not as much as you would like out of your senior class, but, they get a season taken away from them, and some of those guys were fortunate enough to play varsity as sophomores. I think
several of those names sound very familiar.
Right. We've hit the injury bug with a little of those. Tucker Howard is just now getting to where he's playing with it for us a little bit. He had a elbow operated on in February, so that set him back about 6 weeks. He's not played any defensively, but he's starting to hit a little bit in DH for us, so we're excited to get him back. And it always hurts when you have your playing leadoff guy and shortstop not in the starting lineup on day one. So we filled some holes there.
Talk to us a little bit about defensively, how you're going to line them up and what you expect to see out of both your infield and outfield.
As they know, as they've learned through the first 6-7 games, it just depends on what day it is. We've got a bunch of baseball players. I don't necessarily think that we've got guys that are just first basemen or second basemen. We've played a lot of different guys in a lot of different spots. So really and truly, I think we've had a different defensive lineup out there almost every game we've played. Which is a good problem to have. You've got guys that you can move around and fill in, and hopefully you don't hurt yourself one way or another on that. So it's good and it's bad, I guess it's a twofold answer there for you. So it's not set. I mean, our pitching staff so far, Tyler Pumphrey, he's been great for us on the mound. And, a lot of our young guys. Cameron Shipp has come in as a freshman and thrown a lot of innings for us already. He's a little lefty, and, so far he's not been rattled. He just goes out there and throws the ball over the plate and says, here it is, hit it. And if you do, my guys will make the play behind you.
That makes a pitcher feel really good when he knows he's got some solid defense backing him up a little bit. Coach, a little bit about your philosophy, how you like to coach, especially, and I'm sure most good coaches do this, and you do as well. Did I just say you're not a good coach?
No, I don't think so. I don't think we've proven that one way or the other yet.
But, you have to be able to adapt to your personnel, the players you've got. What kind of, baseball do you expect to play? I mean, there's a lot more strategy into it game planning than what you would normally see, or the average fan who turns on a ball game or just goes out to the park.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think our main focus has always been, in the number of years that I've been involved in the program at Southwestern, is, it's a common answer. It's pitching and defense. We teach our pitchers that, yes, we love the velocity if you've got it, but it does us no good if you throw 95 and you can't throw a strike. So, we focus a lot on pitch location, pounding the strike zone, and forcing high school hitters to get themselves out. We're on that offensive side too. We know we make enough mistakes at the plate to get ourselves out. But you don't get hurt on the mound if you don't walk two guys and then give up a double. If you get the first two guys out and then you give up a double, so what? You give up a double and we go on and we get the next guy. So that's always been our philosophy on the mound. Defensively, we want you to make the routine plays. You make the routine plays, great. Every now and then you'll mix in a sports center play, as they call it. But the big thing is make the routines. And in the region that we play in, the 12th region, if you look at it, especially this year, top to bottom, we've got 3 or 4 teams in there that could actually go on and win the whole thing. And that makes you play your best game day in and day out. You can't ever take a day off when you play the schedule that we're all lucky enough to play here. So we do go with the approach of, try to limit them to 21 outs a game. If you give them 26, 27 outs a game, you're probably in trouble on the scoreboard by the time it's all said and done.
Indeed. This is a look at high school baseball. Coach Michael Gover, Southwestern Warriors. For some reason earlier I wasn't going to tell on myself, but I was calling you Roger Gover, but I apologize for that.
I've been called a whole lot worse. So So it could be worse.
I get
for
it.
sure.
I get it. Just call me for dinner's my
Yeah.
my philosophy.
There
But
you go.
we are at Buffalo Wings and Rings on South Highway 27, just across from the Somerset Mall. Come on down and join us. We've still got. We're going to also be talking with coaches from Pulaski County, Somerset, and we're going to have the head coach of the girls softball team at Somerset Christian. But right now, I've got Coach Gover with us, and Coach, you don't do it alone. You've got some guys. I'm sure you were an assistant for
Yeah,
several years.
several years, yeah.
And now here you are, the head man. Who you got helping you out?
This year I've got Patrick Pumphrey. He's been with us for the last 3 years now. I've got Vincent Bulls, who's come back. It's his first year. Of course, he played for us, graduated in 2014, and he's now teaching down at Southern. So we got him graduated, got him through school, and getting him back in it. Logan Starnes, who also played for us, and then Casey Dalton. And of course, you know Casey's been busy with the girls' basketball, but he's our big help on the stats and keeps us all in line. So we appreciate all those guys. And, of course, like you said, we can't do it alone. It takes all of us and even more, to get the job done.
And yeah, and you appreciate
very
everything that
much
they
so.
do. I
Very much
understand
so.
that. The other folks that I know you have a deep appreciation for are the folks that kind of your unknown heroes, those behind the scenes, and we happen to have one.
That's right.
I'm assuming you know who this young lady is.
We've met a time or two. This is my oldest daughter, Addison, and as you can tell, she's a big Southwestern Warriors baseball fan, right?
I think you've
And
embarrassed her.
I have. She gets real quiet when I do that. And then my wife and my youngest daughter are out in the lobby there getting them something to eat, probably Jessica and Harper. Addie's 6 and Harper's 2. And yeah, I'm very fortunate. They love it. And I was asked, back whenever I took the job, well, how'd you come about the decision? And I said, well, of course, I had to talk it over with the missus because she, has to take on a lot of responsibility when I'm not there. We got 2 young ones. Of course, she works full-time job as well, and I greatly appreciate her support. And, of course, girls as well, we get them out there. And I think they like coming to the baseball games, don't you? Maybe. Yeah, we had her keeping stats last night. I think she was keeping score of the game for us.
Good job.
But, yeah, greatly appreciate, what my wife does for us and everything like that.
And, I hear coaches all the time talk about family, and sometimes it's easy to neglect your own personal family in something like this.
It is.
It always does my heart good to see coaches who get the family involved. It becomes a whole thing. But, these kids I know are special to you. You've known a lot of them. It's got to also just do something for you inside when you see kids, that come back and help you coach, that have gone on and gotten their education, and now they're training up young men that have come through the program. And to me, that's the mark of an excellent program, because if you've done a good job and they want to come back, it's because they take something with them when they, left, and they want to bring it back and deliver to those kids. Tell me a little bit about just, what that says to you when you see these kids.
I mean, I've always said that, I even told the boys the other night, I love doing it. That's why I've done it. I've done it since I was 7 years old, played all the way through, started coaching basically right out of college, helping at the middle school and then eventually up to high school. But the relationships that you build are unbelievable. I love it when the boys will call me up and say, hey, Coach, let's go to lunch today. Or, you get that wedding invitation or something along the lines of, hey, we're having our first child, and that's how long we've been doing it. I've got guys that have graduated, got married, and having babies of their own, and that's just awesome that they think enough of you to invite you to those special moments. And again, that's what it's all about. We want to try to help these young men grow into young men and be the best, men that they can be once they get out into society and all that, especially in our community, of course.
I completely understand that, having coached myself and got out of it, and I understand the time dedication. And one of the things has always been one of my I don't know what you want to call it, but something that I'm very adamant about is I don't like wishing players and coaches good luck. I think luck is where preparation meets opportunity. But I always want to, when my son played ball or my daughter played softball, and, I always wanted to say, have fun. Have fun.
Exactly.
And I'm thinking that's something that you try to emphasize with these guys as well.
It's funny you mentioned it. We had the conversation last night about, why these boys play the game. Why do you play? And most of their answers were, well, I love the game, Coach. Well, all right, if you love the game, then when you get here, it should be your funnest place of the day. You know, you should be sitting there looking at the watch, waiting for time to show up, and take advantage of the moments, because we know that at any point, now especially, they've all seen it. It can be taken right away from us.
Yeah, that's one thing these kids have learned, and
Yes.
something they'll probably pass on. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
We don't know what the future
We don't know what
holds.
tomorrow brings, and we never have. But now, like I said, you've got a real-world example that you can use with them, and that can be a great tool.
Anything else you'd like to share with the folks? We got a minute or two here before we have to wrap things up, but is there anything else you'd like to share? Now, I understand it's softball. I think they said they were allowed 6.
We're taking 6 fans in for each. Each player that we've gotten 6 fans for the opposing team. Obviously the administration, Alex, and the other folks at the high school have been great working with us, keeping us apprised of what we can do, what we can't do, and I know they're itching for the day that they can just say, hey, let everybody show up and have fun and do what we want to. But we encourage everybody to get out. Try to get out, come catch a game. We've had beautiful weather so far for April. Come out, check us out. Hopefully we put on a decent show for you and a little entertainment. But somebody that kind of gets left out sometimes are all our parents, our Booster Club members. They put in an awful lot of hard work, so I want to say thank you to all of them and what they do. They feed these kids before every game. They're now working with us after the game where we can't really stop any place. I got moms and dads running to McDonald's and bringing back cheeseburgers and dropping them off on the bus for our guys that are riding the bus home. So those folks, they go above and beyond. And again, we couldn't do it without all their support and their help, that they provide for us.
Excellent. Coach, I want to wish you, just the best of seasons, and I know you're going to have a lot of fun and win a lot of ball games, and we're going to be following you. We've got several games on schedule to come out and watch you guys play, and it's a tough region.
It is a tough region, but, hey, you only get better, right?
There you go.
So we appreciate you guys and what you all do and the atmosphere that you bring and showcasing our local guys, and really appreciate all that.
All right, well, thank you very much. Kind words from Coach Michael Gover of the Southwestern Warriors baseball team. I don't think we're going anywhere. I'm going somewhere because I'm done right now, and we're going to get some other folks in here. I don't even know who's up next, but this is a look at high school baseball and softball coming to you live from Buffalo Wings and Rings. I'm going to turn the mics off and pass them over to the next.
Jeff, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. Get that a little closer to you. Thank you. That's great. And we're on. So the sound check was live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Buffalo Wings and Rings as we continue our coaches' baseball and softball shows. And I am pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Somerset Lady Jumpers, Jeff Murphy. And Jeff, I want to talk about a lot of stuff tonight. I want to talk about your team and the season and all that, but we can't, I guess, start this without, if you haven't been over on May Street up on the end of it by the old, what I would call Hopkins Elementary from 100, you need to take a drive by up what used to be known as the Hole.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful over there, man. We can't thank the administration enough. I mean, they've done a lot of work for us. I mean, they even put bleachers up there in the bank, man. It's something special.
It's top shelf.
Oh, yeah, it's nice.
You and I were reminiscing a little bit about Dave Dorsey, who's obviously rooted in the Somerset program, both baseball and softball, very deeply, but his house was just above there, and I go back to literally 6, 7 years old of us playing on that field, and to see it in the shape it's in today,
yeah,
it's pretty special.
Yeah, we love it, and then, like I said, we're fortunate to be able to have something like that. I mean, we just got off the field to practice. I mean, not a lot of teams were able to do that today just because all the weather. So we're super excited to have that.
Yeah, and again, it just has a look to it when you drive up in that parking lot. It just screams.
Yeah, that
all right,
goal
we probably ought
nice.
to talk about softball and kids and coaches. And once again, you got your district season underway last night. Lost to Pulaski County, which, again, you get them tomorrow night. You go to their place tomorrow night. Let's talk a little bit about your team. And obviously, most of the time it starts in the circle.
Yep.
And that's probably a good place for us to start.
Yeah, our on the mound last night, and we've had Carla Kane. She's our number one that we've pitched. I mean, she's been here with us forever, it seems like. I mean, she's always going to compete out there, and that's big. I mean, that's what we're about. We want to compete out there every inning and every pitch, and she does that. We also have Jill Langford. She's thrown it quite a bit for us as well, and she'll get out there and compete as well. She throws strikes, but those two are our main ones. We also have Reagan Peters that comes out there. She gets out there and competes as well. She throws strikes, and that's all we want from our pitchers. We want them out there to throw strikes and get outs. That's what we want. We want our defense to work, and that's what they're out there to do.
You know, I think some people completely lose sight of the fact that in a 21-out ball game, if you don't walk anybody and you make the routine plays, you're going to be in a lot of ball games.
And we hit on that a lot. That's a big thing. And we've got to pick up our defense. That's one thing we got to really work on. And we've hit on that today. And we got to just make sure that we're hitting our defense and we're making sure it's ready for tomorrow.
Too early in the season to be throwing stats around. I always say until you give me 30 or 40 at bats or 20 innings pitching or something like that, you don't have a clue exactly what you're going to get. But I did notice that you've got 5 players hitting 375 or above to start the season.
Yeah, we can swing it a little bit. Last night we kind of struggled, but we do swing the bat pretty well. I mean, we tell them to be aggressive from the first pitch and be ready to go when you step in the box. Get in there with confidence, and that's one thing that I believe has helped out a ton. And that's what we're about. I mean, we compete in the box as well. I mean, that's what we talk about all the time is making sure we compete. And our girls are starting to buy into that.
I love the energy, by the way.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it takes. And, again, you have to have a little bit of fire to coach high school kids. And you can't con them very much.
Exactly.
If you're not for real, they're not for real.
Oh, yeah. And these girls are great. I mean, I love these girls. I tell them that every day.
How about your coaching staff? You got anybody on that you're pretty close to?
Oh, yeah, a little bit. I've got my wife, Brittany. She's on the coach staff. She's great. I mean, she does well with the girls. I mean, she coaches the infielders. I mean, she does a fantastic job. We also added a new one this year, and Jordan Adcock. She was our middle school coach the past couple of years, and we brought her up to help out. She helps out with the outfielders. So those two, and we also have Dave. Dave comes out. He's still around. I mean, he's our general manager. He's never going to leave. I mean, that's just him, you know. And that's one reason why he said he wanted to make sure that one of us would do it, just if he would step down, and man, because he still wanted to be a part of it. And,
well, again, he had enough pride in that program. He didn't want to see it turned over to just anybody.
I mean, there's no man that's done anything like he has for that program. I mean,
I agree. And again, if you don't know the contributions Coach Dorsey's made, he'll never tell you. That's not his style. I'll guarantee it. But
that's why I'm in this, because of him. I mean, he's great.
Let's talk about your players, because the people who are watching us tonight, and we are at Buffalo Wings and Rings, by the way, they told me to remind you that $1.29 tenders to go. They can just bring me and you a sack of them if they want to. We'll say we'll go.
We'll tell those out.
All right, we are at Buffalo Wings and Rings. Yeah. Back to your team again. We touched a little bit about the circle. I always have trouble saying the circle, but now let's go behind the plate, because, again, that's another position in softball that you have to be solid.
Yeah, behind the plate, our starter is Addie Langford, great receiver. She receives the ball very well, blocks it up, pretty decent arm. You know, she's back there. She does what she's supposed to do. We also have Jasmine Peavy that can get back there and catch a little bit, and Emmy Goforth, she gets back there as well. But and then I'll just go around the whole
There you go.
infield.
That's what I want us to do.
And then third base, we got Olivia Ulrich. She came back over from Southwestern, big pickup. She's been great. Shortstop, we've got Kaylee Harris, another big pickup that we got from Virginia. She transferred in, great player. Wish we could have her. She's a senior this year. Wish we could have had her sooner. Great player. And then Jasmine Peavy can also play shortstop. Second base, we've got Molly Lucas and Jasmine Peavy. Peavy can play about anywhere. I mean, that's what we want. We want players that can play anywhere. And then at first base, we have Emma Hawk. Emma Hawk's been their starter there for the past 4 years.
Yes.
And she's been swinging it pretty well. So, and then we have in left field, we got Jill Langford and Maddie Lynn. And in center, we got Allison Coffey and Peyton Goforth and Kaylee Bartley. And then in right field, we got Jaslyn Shadowan and Reagan Peters. So that's our lineup that we roll with, and we're getting better. We're not where we want to be right now, but we're getting better.
I was trying to keep count of the names, and you mentioned so many I couldn't. The numbers obviously are better.
Yes,
I know Coach Dorsey, it's been 3-4 years ago, he and I were talking as we've sometimes would do off the record and to the side, and he was just saying the numbers were so low, and so obviously you have got better numbers out.
Yeah, I remember a few years ago, I was assistant coach there
Sure.
for a while, and we would have 11, 12 players.
Oh, he would tell me if I get somebody hurt, I'm just done.
Yeah, and we have 17 this year on our roster.
Excellent.
Which is a good number for us, and it's been great. Like I said, these girls are great, and they work hard, they compete, so it's a great team.
Talk a little bit about the district, because as would be the nature of the beast, you guys are already in district play, and you've got Pulaski on the schedule this week. Is it Rock next week, or
and
then Casey the following?
Last week.
You
Yes.
play the home series in the same week. I'm not sure that is as important in softball as it is in baseball because of the pitching, but we'll talk about that sometime when you and I are just chatting. But if you had to rank the district right now, everybody knows a little bit about Pulaski. I mean, they returned basically everyone except Gover, I think, off a team from 2 years ago that was pretty good. So you've seen them once, good competitive game last night. You get them again tomorrow night. So let's just leave them out there. We'll welcome everybody. We're going to do that game. That's a shameless plug right here. You can listen to it live here on LakeCumberlandSports.com. That's a 6 o'clock first pitch.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to make sure of that because I think the KHSA says 5:30, but it'll be a 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock start, yes, sir.
You've got, a situation where you've got Casey and Rock in this district. Rock has been pretty solid off and on for a lot of years. Same thing this year.
Yes, they got a good arm in the circle, and that's a lot of it. I mean, you got a good arm in the circle, man. You can go a long way, and because there's no restrictions really. I mean, you would like to have 2 or 3 pitchers that could throw, but they've got one really good one. So, and that's going to be tough. We got to be ready for everybody, and Casey as well. I mean, we got to be ready for them too. But I feel like we got a very competitive district. I feel like we're getting a lot better, and hopefully we can pull some of these out. But we're going to give it our best effort.
Well, let's take a look. We've talked a little bit about the district. A little early. You've not even had a chance, I guess, to see Casey yet and Rock. The region, I guess, the usual suspects. Somebody's going to have to beat Boyle County at some point in time. Who might be on the radar that I've not wouldn't be looking for? East Jessamine comes about every 5 years or so. They come up with a powerhouse.
Oh yeah, East Jessamine's always good. I would say Garrett County, but they're usually pretty good. But
right.
I mean, this year's we played them before and they're okay. And Mercer County's solid. They're a solid team in the 12th region. Also, I believe. I mean, nobody's really talking about us, but I feel like we're solid. We are, and I feel like we've got a good chance, and we can if we play well. I mean, that's what it comes down to. We got to play better defense, and that's what it comes down to.
Hey, that lack of respect can go a long way.
Hey, we're flying on the radar, man. That's what I like.
So, again, we'll have your game tomorrow night. I haven't looked back at the schedule today, but we've got 4, 5, 6 of your all's games regular season, and then obviously we'll be on board throughout the district and region as long as the local teams are playing, and we appreciate the accommodations. I had the pleasure of doing the boys' game last night from, I'll call it New Charlie Taylor Field. I don't know what else you could call it. Everything's different now, and I can't wait to get a chance to be down there and on the turf.
It's awesome, man. I mean, like I said earlier, we can't thank the administration enough for what they've done for both programs and the football field.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just been amazing what we've got.
Tommy Claunch sent me video and pictures almost on a daily basis while the construction was going on. I think he was about as excited about the whole thing as anybody else associated with it.
Tommy's a big part of our program too, man. We couldn't function without him. He's great.
He's there are a lot of programs. I noticed, you know it, the people who are backboning and helping you all, and they go, most of them go under the radar. Nobody ever knows anything about it.
No doubt about it. He's one of those. He's one of those for sure.
All right, I'm getting ready to have to play you in a back-to-back home series, and you're going to scout Somerset softball against me. First of all, what are the strengths of Somerset softball right now?
I feel like we swing it well. We're good offensively. In the circle, we're great as well. I really feel like Carly Kane is one of the better pitchers and she's just a sophomore. I mean, she's still got a lot of room to grow, but I do feel like she's a very good pitcher. And also, but one thing that we really got to work on, I've said it multiple times, our defense. I mean, we've got to get better defensively, but offensively, I feel like we can swing it with anybody when we're ready and have a good approach. And also in the mound, I feel like in the circle, I feel like we're just as good as anybody.
Well, again, I think that defense things that will help. The one thing that helps the defense more than anything else is getting to play.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have the rain-out thing going on
for sure.
that a lot of schools have to deal with. I mean, if you're from our area, you kind of have some idea that occasionally around here it rains in the spring of the year.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, we actually got to practice today out there, and that's big because we needed it. We had to get out there and practice. It was even raining on us, but we had to get out there and get some more work in because we got to get prepared for tomorrow, and that's what we're trying to do.
I look at some numbers on here, and you talk about swinging it, and from a guy who couldn't hit a home run in a small field, I noticed you've hit a couple of home runs on the season so far. But the numbers are like I said, when you've played, 5 games? 6 games? 8.
We're 5-3.
5-3. I have got some older stats, which is that's my fault.
No, you're fine.
With the hitting that you do have, is it 1 through 8, 1 through 9? Are you trying to make sure you get a little more production out of some others? I know I see averages up around 375 and above. That means you're putting the ball in play pretty regularly.
Yeah, 1 through 9, we're solid. I mean, we are. I feel like we do need some more production from some. We do. But I feel like 1 through 9, we can all put it in play. We can all find barrels, and that's what we want. We don't worry about batting averages. We worry about hitting the ball hard. That's what we want. And if you do hit the ball hard, those batting averages will go up.
There's something to be said about centering the ball, whether it's baseball or softball. If you hit it hard,
that's what we tell them every day. Don't worry about that batting average. You worry about hitting the ball hard. When you
20 at bats, you might have hit 3 atom balls in the middle of that, and some guy might have made a career catch.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden, you don't think you're hitting the ball.
Exactly.
Or you could be dropping those flares and bloops and stuff in the outfield, and they're falling in, and you think, well, I'm all that, and really you're not hitting the ball very well.
That's the approach we try to take every day. I mean, when we're in the cages, we're taking BP on the field. You just try to barrel balls up. Okay, if it goes right at somebody, it goes right at you. Beat them. Okay,
exactly.
You beat the pitcher. They just made a play on you, and that's what we preach, and that's what we're about.
I really, again, I've said this, but I don't mind to be redundant when I mean it. I love the energy. It's got to be contagious among your kids, and I know Brittany well enough, having grown up literally with Brittany and Samantha. And, I didn't grow up with them. I watched them grow up. I have daughters that are their age, so let's make sure I correct that to the point. But I know her intensity and her desire, and Coach Dorsey, David doesn't say very much verbally, but he's to the point and he's pretty straightforward, and those kids are blessed to have, people who understand the game and love the game and have a passion for the game.
And like I said earlier, man, we love these girls. We care about them, and we love each other. That's a big thing, that we're about the team, and that's what we want. And coaching staff's the same. I mean, we're all in the same boat.
I had somebody say something today about the facilities at Somerset and how they had been improved. And a guy made a comment that I just want to throw out in front of you cold. He said, well, we always talk about kids being involved in, and sometimes the conversation is very negative. They're doing this, they're doing that. You provide them facilities like you're providing there, and you give them the opportunity, and you staff it with people who care about them and want to coach them and teach them life lessons. We're a better place to spend your money. So we've thanked the administration multiple times. But it is still money well spent to be investing in our kids.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And it's going to help for many years. I mean, it's going to help the younger kids because, I mean, that's what it's about. And we're looking to make sure players get better every day, and that's going to help. That's going to help a ton. And where else would you want to go, you know?
Their future Briar Jumper softball players going to Hopkins Elementary.
Oh, yeah.
Looking down on that field every day going, one of these days, guys.
And I work there. I work there, and I see it every day. I drive by it, man, and I try to get them, you know, because I see all those little girls in there. I'm trying to make sure they look at that field and make sure they want to play as well.
Let's take a look at this upcoming schedule for just a minute.
Yes, sir. Because
we got through the Pulaski thing. You've got Danville next week.
Yeah, it's the All A regional.
All A region,
yeah.
And that's a 1 o'clock. That's Saturday, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what I was thinking.
At Danville, we go there, and then we play Rock the next 2 days. The next week.
North's pretty good.
And North Laurel, we scrimmage them. They're solid. They got a good pitcher. They got a good arm in the circle. They're solid. Then we go to Casey. We play Casey the next week, and then South Laurel, and then Madison Central and Russell County, Corbin. We got a pretty tough schedule.
Good schedule, Coach.
Pretty tough schedule. So
who made this? You?
No, that was Dave.
All right,
I put it on him.
Okay. Well, if you don't schedule good teams,
exactly,
you don't know.
Exactly. And there's one team that Estill County. We played them earlier in the year. They beat us 6-4. They're solid, and I know Coach Sumner talked about them earlier. I know they could play them tomorrow, but they're solid. They got a good pitcher in the circle. That's legit, and they're legit.
We're looking forward to spending some time with you this year at the games. And again, anybody else that we didn't get around that you want to thank, anybody associated with the program, you're somebody who's helping you guys in any way, here's our shot, because we may have a pretty good little audience listening right now.
I want to thank all our parents, all our fans, all our sponsors that we have. I just want to thank everybody, and I hope everybody comes out and watches us, man. We're a fun team to watch, and hopefully you can make it out.
Let's do this as we wrap this up. As far as any COVID restrictions, it's outdoors right now. If you come, there are none right now.
We don't
right?
have any. We just make sure you wear a mask in the gate, and that's about it.
And you don't do something stupid like sit on top of each other.
Exactly. We do encourage social distancing.
But they can come to the games is what I'm saying. They don't have to worry about tickets in advance and all that stuff.
There's no ticket restriction or anything. If you come watch us play.
I want to come watch you play, and I'm going to get a chance to do that very soon. Jeff Murphy, congratulations to you and everybody with Somerset Softball. I look forward to it. Keep that energy.
Yes, sir.
And if there's ever anything that Lake Cumberland Sports can do for you guys, give us a shout.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Best of luck, man. The water that I told you I would have you for the interview is sitting on that table right there with a straw on top of it. Take it with you when you go, partner.
Thank you, sir.
Jeff, thanks, man.
Appreciate
it. See you soon.
See you.
We are at Buffalo Wings and Rings. This is our coaches show. That was Jeff Murphy, and if there's anybody that has any more enthusiasm for the sport that he coaches, I don't know him, but he did a great job. And we are at BWR, Buffalo Wings and Rings, $1.29 chicken tender night. Currently no wait at Buffalo Wings and Rings. Chicken tender for $1.29, no wait.
And they are yummy.
They are yummy. You know, if I eat some of these, it would be the second meal that I've had at Buffalo Wings and Rings today because we had lunch down here today. We did, and if you haven't eaten one of their cheeseburgers, that's your fault. And rings is in their name. If you haven't eaten the rings down here, that's your fault. I don't know if – oh, okay. I want to mention Entrust Counseling has a giveaway program going, and Kelly's giving stuff away. Phil Grundy, come on in and have a seat. And you can unmask if you choose to. That's your call.
We've got gift cards, Buffalo Wings and Rings gift cards.
How do they get them?
Come in, sign up, get it to go order. They can sign up that way too.
All right. I'm going to do one announcement. Phil Grundy, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Saw you last night, but you were busy and we didn't get to talk a whole lot, but we'll do that in just a minute.
Yeah, I was a little busy.
You were a little busy. Buffalo Wings and Rings, we are, and head baseball coach Somerset Briar Jumpers Phil Grundy has graciously agreed to join us, and I'm going to mention that Entrust has got some giveaway stuff going on up front, so when you come in the front door, register, and if you want to go online to Lake Cumberland Sports and or Entrust.com, go. They're giving gift cards away, and that's like almost real money.
Yes.
I don't think you and I are eligible to win, Coach.
No.
I'm pretty sure we're out. All right, Phil, good to see you. Good win last night. My first chance to – I had been by the field a few times, first chance to put my dirty feet out on your new field, and I felt sort of guilty walking out there with shoes. Hey, that is an awesome facility. Let's just start right there.
Yeah, we're just so blessed. I mean, really, you're talking about a lot of dedication from our Board of Education and our Mr. Lively, our superintendent. It's been something that we never thought would happen, but we're just so blessed with it, and an opportunity for the kids to get better in the summer, use that facility, and I mean, you can be on the infield anytime you want.
Certainly.
So we're excited.
And the way it's laid out, with it all being turf, you could practice Little League distant, Babe Ruth, whatever you want to do.
I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah,
we did.
You did. I saw that.
Alternate bases in for Cal Ripken, coach's pitch.
Yeah, you guys didn't. Somebody, I'm hoping it's you. I want to give you credit. Somebody put some thought into the way that's laid out. Too.
I'll take credit, but it was Mr. Lively.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, he's he was really involved, and I think the situation that he had and the background he had with football, how they set that up, and Coach Tucker and what they did, really came back to help us how he set up the baseball.
All right, it's hard to find your field. If you live in Somerset and you drive by the bypass and you don't see it, that's your fault. It's down there. I encourage you, go watch a high school baseball game. You're not going to be disappointed. And go see the Briar Jumpers. You're not going to be disappointed. Go see that facility, too, just to say wow.
Yeah, and we've had great support, parents, throughout the years. Barb and Dwight Sears it started with them, Dr. Cole and Gretchen Cole. It's a whole laundry list. Tracy Spears, Tracy was head of our booster club for a long time. So it's always been Teresa Epperson. We just had so many good parents.
It takes it.
Oh, it did.
You take administration and parents and coaches that care and some kids that can play, and you build a program.
And the other thing, I mean, you're talking going back 25 years of baseball players that are continuing to donate to us. Dr. Tohill,
sure.
Both Timmy and Taylor, Dr. Chevront. We've just been blessed, and we're lucky, and now we just got to go out and compete.
Let's talk baseball then.
Great.
Good win last night, 4-1 win. I don't know your opinion of how it went, but I thought Kay did a good enough job on the mound to get a good win.
Yeah.
Your team got a couple hits when they needed them in the middle of the diamond, and you played pretty good defense.
Yeah, I think it woke some of the kids up. We're a big game, and anytime you play Pulaski County, Southwestern, Danville, the rivalry heats it up a little bit, and it's a little bit – I think we were a little bit tight too early, and that's – it's something I wouldn't expect from this group as many seniors, but you have to remember they're missing a whole 2020 campaign. It's some of these guys, it's new to them. They haven't got the rust out yet,
right,
and the fire in their belly that we want. So hopefully it'll help us.
We're early in the season. Let's be honest. And until you get 50, 60 at bats and you get 20, 25 innings under your belt pitching, you really don't know what you've got anyway.
No.
I am sure you have not got a pitcher who you're willing to stretch completely out yet.
No.
Got to get close over the next 2 or 3 weeks to being able to do that, right?
Yeah, we always say this, and of course the kids make fun of me because it's I don't take it this way, but I say everything's preseason until it's postseason. It's all about development. But I want to win every game because I think we put the guys out there that are capable of winning every game. And usually I look at it as where did we fail? Was it defensively, offensively, whatever it was? And so I'm still a little bit agitated to a high level if we don't play well. And early in the year, we throw in 3 and 4 pitchers. It's hard. Not only for our pitchers, but it's also when you get a long inning, you do bring a guy in that's doesn't have his best stuff that day, and all of a sudden it puts your offense in behind the 8 ball.
Sure.
To where you're sitting there going, how we got to make up 4 runs in 2 at bats. So how are we going to do that? And so I think as we do get the opportunity to stretch our pitchers out, we're going to be okay. Like last night, Cade got us to Dakota. And I expect John and Dylan to handle it tomorrow, and we don't have to use 3 pitchers. So as we keep moving, I think you'll see guys going deeper into games.
Again, I know there are some coaches that I have some real issues in the past, and there's not only bringing that up, but I've seen them throw kids 120 pitches 3 weeks into the season, and I'm thinking, what are you doing? Are you just literally not paying any attention to? Right. But I knew that you've got the experience and everything. All right, you got that win. You got Pulaski tomorrow night. That's a district game, and then next week, is it Rock next week. And Casey the following.
And we added a game Friday. We got this Friday at home again. We'll get that out there. We're playing Corbin at 6 o'clock varsity. JV's going down to Russell County for a doubleheader. But then we come back here and got Rock next week, then Casey the following week. But we got a big tournament. And one of the things that we're trying to do is we want our kids to be exposed to colleges. I say this all the time. The percentage of winning a state championship are small.
Pretty slim.
Yeah, in baseball, I mean, it's one hot pitcher at the right time.
You're right.
One guy gets a big base hit. Anything can happen, and it's happened to us and other teams over the last 10 or 15 years where we thought we were better than we actually ended up. But our job is to get them great experience, and I think they do that. I think we do that, and also try to get them a chance to play at the next level. And if we can't do that, we failed.
Well, you've got a handful that have already signed.
Yep, and I think there'll be more.
Yeah.
I think there'll be more opportunities. And these guys, they all deserve it. I said that in another interview. If they spend 4 years going through the grind of what we do, and we very rarely have off days.
I know.
We're always trying to do something, because if you go, and I've been blessed to play baseball a long time and now coach 20th season, you see what kids need, and it's not lack of activity. It's activity. They need to be out doing something, working on something that's going to make them better. And if it's bunting, hit and run, base running, whatever it is, there's always something we need to work on.
Let's start talking about kids, but I do want to throw one more in the mix. A year away from baseball. What the years that I tried to play the game and enjoyed the game as much as I did, to think that you took a full year away from live pitching and then tried to come back at some competitive level, this has got to be an extended preparing, spring training, whatever we want to call it, because there are kids, you're fortunate enough to have some facilities, but there are some kids, because of other sports and everything else, baseball in the spring is really the only time they play a lot of baseball.
I say that all the time. The guys that you can see the guys that put the bat down in the last game in 2020 or 2019 and didn't pick it up again until we made them get out there in February. But I'll be honest with you, the hardest thing for us has been able to, as coaches and what we hope leaders, is to not be overly critical of those kids.
Sure.
Because, I mean, we're blessed. Like I say, I keep saying we're blessed. We're blessed to have great kids. If we can't get the most out of them, it'll fall on the coaches.
You're pretty critical yourself. I'll throw this in. Of those 19 seasons, this number 20, how many of those you won 20 games in? You don't know.
I think all.
Okay, I knew the answer. I was just trying to set you up. See if
great kids, great program. I took over a solid one.
I don't want to. I hesitate because Cade Grundy's your son. Cade Grundy's a once-in-a-generation athlete. I just said that. You don't have to comment. He's a multi-sport talent, Mr. Basketball in the 12th region. Could be a football player as a wide receiver, whatever, if he wanted to, playing baseball at the next level. You got to start your team with him, but this is a team that doesn't just revolve around Cade Grundy.
No.
And I would be remiss if we don't get a chance to take a shot at a bunch of these kids. And let's say some names.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've got 100.
Let's say some names.
But, I mean, again, coming with Cade, Cade's been a varsity player for us since he was an 8th grader. Really competitive. I actually love coaching him. He's one that actually asks for feedback. Some of the other guys, when they struggle, they'll cocoon up and hide from me, and they don't want to have a give and take. He actually seeks it out. It doesn't always go well for either one of us. I mean, we have our moments, but I'm proud of him. And it's we've watched this group grow up with Dylan and Dakota and Cam Ryan, and all these kids have came up. Drew Johnson, they came up since they were 9 years old, 8, 9 years old, and I've been blessed to watch them and again see them develop. But across the board, you're talking about adding Josh Gross in there just as a sophomore. Josh is dealing with an injury right now, a hustle play. Dakota's always dealing with a beat or a bang on him because he's always 100%. Dylan's jumping from pitcher, one of our top pitchers, to catching to third base. Clay Vanderplug and Blake Abbott. Blake, a freshman, competing and helping with the you know how hard it is to catch. And if we don't have 2-3 good catchers, we're going to run into a real problem down the road on beating and banging on that. Then you're talking about all the outfielders that we have. Losing Poncho was big this year. He's out for the year with a shoulder and a knee injury. The shoulder was an old injury, and then also Landon New. I mean, Landon's been with us and he hits a bullet in a scrimmage against North Oldham. Field's a little soft. Next guy hits a dribbler. He's hustling, busting it, trying to get to second base, and rolls his ankle. And it's legitimately been a tough injury for him. He can't hit. He couldn't do anything. So finally, we're getting him back this coming week. And I really feel like that. And if you add in John Phipps, and John's got a premier arm. John has gotten somewhat of a bad rap over the years that he won't get after it. John just takes losing very hard. And he's one of those kids that you got to basically talk through some of this stuff. And we've been lucky that he'll listen. And when he has a bad outing, I think he comes back a little bit down, and we just got to keep pumping him up. But anybody that wants to come watch a kid that's got some great stuff, great movement, John's a A1 pitcher. We've just been lucky that we've got Cade, John, Dylan, Dakota, Drew, Hank MacArthur. I mean, you're talking about Hank. Hank's coming off some shoulder tenderness. Hank's got Division I stuff. It's just a matter of him putting it all together, and one day it's just going to click for him, and he's going to be right up there at the top level for us as well.
We're going to jump into the region, everybody, in a minute, but to win and be, as you said, to get a chance to go to even a state tournament and get a chance for that bounce to go your way instead of the other guy's way. It's a crapshoot of some pretty serious numbers. But having said that, you have one luxury that a lot of teams doesn't have, that you have a deep pitching staff.
We do.
And there are schools that have a 1. They might have a 2B, and that's it.
Yeah.
And you've got a pretty good pitching staff.
I tell people this all the time. With our defense, you talk about Matt Bowen center and some of those guys that can fill it. Like Matt's going to anchor down center.
He can go
when
get it.
Cade is on the mound. That makes Cade a better pitcher.
Sure.
Then you're looking at no one would want to draw our pitching staff. Now, we're not hitting it well enough, and maybe we don't defend it well enough, but no one would want to just say, I want to draw Somerset out in a single elimination game to play, and they wouldn't want any of our top 6, 7 pitchers. And like I say, up the middle, you've got 3 great catchers. You've got Cam Ryan, that's anchored second base for 3 years. You've got shortstop and Cole Reynolds, who I think is the best shortstop in the state of Kentucky. He's the best I've ever watched. His instincts, his energy, everything he does is top-notch. Can't ask any more of him. And then you got Matt and Cade that's in center field. There's where our team lies. The corner guys are rotate in and out with our who were pitching and who we're having to catch.
Right.
But unbelievable group that I think we're just scratching the surface. And it's hard on me because I have such high expectations to be real positive sometimes when we don't play well. But if you look at why we've lost, and it's been a lot on what situation we put a kid in, and we may have put him in a situation that he wasn't ready for right then.
But again, that's early.
It is early. It is.
The ones that count, what did you say? It's all preseason till it's postseason. Can I steal that?
Yeah, you can.
I will use that somewhere.
My blood pressure doesn't equate that.
That's the good thing is, though, I take medicine.
Yeah.
So I'm all right.
They don't have enough medicine for.
I know. I've been around
I've been
you.
Stressing.
I've been around you.
But another kid we haven't talked about on our pitching staff, Soda Hayashihara.
You're right.
Soda, one of our players that he's not there, can't be with us all the time due to some of his extra classes he takes. But I'm telling you, he's a special player. Just a great group of upperclassmen. And of course, we won't have time to get all the young kids, the freshmen. But I'm hoping they take it. Caden Samala and Collier White and Jace Combs, all these kids, I hope they see us. I hope they see what the seniors – and it's hard for me to not get to spend time with those young kids because we're so focused. And you get one shot at state title for a senior. So we're trying to put a lot more into them right now than we've ever done before, probably because they lost last year, the whole season. So we're putting a lot on them. And Danville, our district's tough, but you're talking about Danville may not get beaten.
They're still undefeated, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're a handful. They're in the same boat as us. They got 3 or 4 really top-line pitchers, and also they swing it better than us right now.
All right, Danville and Somerset, let's go on through I can give you the usual suspects and probably get most of this right. Mm-hmm. But who else is sitting out there? And give me a sleeper in a bunch, too, if you got
West Jessamine's
Yeah.
loaded. They're loaded. I think they're ranked in top 20. Boyle County returned a big roster, but Rockcastle's got young talent, and you sprinkle in some older ones. You saw what Caleb Adams is capable of doing.
Yeah, they look good.
They're young talent. They're all sophomores and sprinkle on a few freshmen in that upper class group. Anyone can, anybody can win this region in baseball because of the frontline pitchers.
Where is the region this year?
I'm praying that somebody's working on having it at Somerset High School, but 2021 was supposed to be our year.
Yeah, and
because
they
they
took
lost it last year. And I'll tell you the truth, I've hosted the region one time in 20 seasons.
Isn't that amazing?
And Wayne's had it twice. West Jetsam had it 5 times. Danville's had it twice. Bulls had it 3 times. Pulaski's had it 3 times. For whatever reason, it hadn't worked out with us whenever they all get together and figure out who gets to host it.
It's not you.
And our field is second to none, and it has been prior to the.
Well, this year, I made the comment on the air last night. The basketball side of the ledger, once Dave Fraley's name got taken out of the mix, and I'm just being candid, they agreed the 2 best places to play the regional tournament would be Lincoln County and Pulaski County and rotate boys and girls. If you take me anywhere in the 12th region, you're not going to take me to a field I haven't been on. Most of them are old enough I played on them.
Yeah.
Southwestern being the exception, but seriously.
Yeah.
Now, if anybody's got a better field and a better place to play with better parking and better access and everything else than Somerset's got right now, somebody call me. I'll drive.
Yeah.
I'll come see it.
I agree with that. The flip side of that is there's not playing surface. Southwestern's unbelievable. I think our county.
This county's got 3 great fields. I agree.
But I would put ours against R3 against anyone in the state of Kentucky.
Absolutely.
As a matter of fact, not just a 12th region or any of these region games. I would put us against everybody. I would put Southwestern right in the top 5 in the state. I think we're a top 5. But to watch a game and for some of our older fans to be able to sit in your car, not worry about exposing yourself to anyone,
Certainly.
and bring your own drinks,
Certainly.
call up. I think that we could really put on a great show. Now it's all about winning.
All right, we're about done, and I know you got things you'd rather be doing but you and I like to talk baseball. I really do.
I love talking baseball.
And last night, State Senator Rick Girdler, a friend of ours that we go back with a lot of years. You're not old enough to go back that many with him, but some of us are. Threw out the first pitch at the ball game last night. That was pretty cool. Yeah. I also noticed he walked out in front of the mound and threw it just a bit short.
Yeah, he's lost.
He's like the rest of us. The shoulder doesn't play anymore.
Yeah, he's lost some arm
I can't believe you haven't.
No, I have.
You still throw BP,
all
don't
the kids got rust. I got fatter during COVID. So
all right,
it's been tough.
You maligned your defense. We got to wrap this up because we're about done.
There's one kid I don't want to miss.
Okay.
An addition that we had this year, Tanner Popplewell, and I don't know if you guys got a chance.
I saw him in the lineup. Yes.
Unbelievable kid. He's just 17-year-old. Never played high school baseball. Comes out, he's hitting 400 for us. He's got, I think he struck out 20 and walked 6.
And him and Johnson walked through an airport good together, too. Those are 2 big dudes.
We look good getting off a bus. we look like we can play, and both those kids can play. And it's going to be a fun ride. I hope people get out to watch it. My stress levels may not let me enjoy it until after, but I'm going to do my best. And I've got great coaches, Mike Reynolds, Coach Aiken, Coach Saindon, Coach Wallace. Great middle school program, Drew Minyard and John Lewis. We're just so blessed, and we're just hoping we can keep it moving.
All right, I got a hat. You promised me one of those last year. I didn't get it, so I put that on account. The other thing is you talk about your defense. That game last night, I just want to throw this out and we're done. 2 double plays turned by your defense with runners in scoring position, less than 2 outs. You had a guy hit one straight back up the middle that scored the run that basically turned out to be the winning run in the ball game. That's how close things are. You make those plays on those 2 double plays, 2 innings that could have had fruit go away. So your defense was pretty good last night.
Yeah, it's getting better every day. Okay. But the drawback to having a beautiful field right now, we didn't get to use it for. We've been on it 4 times total.
And but now you can use it come rain or shine.
Yep. Can't wait.
He's Phil Grundy, head baseball coach.
I appreciate all you guys do.
The Somerset Briar Jumpers. You and I will do this again sometime. On the air or not.
Soon.
Good luck, Coach. Best of luck.
I appreciate it. Good luck to everybody.
Phil Grundy, the head baseball coach at the Somerset Briar Jumpers, and we want to thank him, and best of luck to the Jumpers this coming season. See you soon. Paul Wright is getting ready, and Coach Gover, I think, is getting ready to tee it up. We're going to go to different faces, and that's good for you all, but I'm going to close with this. Come on in, Paul Wright. $1.29 chicken tender night, currently no weight buffalo wings and rings. $1.29 chicken tenders. You guys are on 1 and 3. I think they're both turned up. I'm out of the way. How we doing, Coach?
See if I can remember how to work a headset. I'm Paul Wright with Pulaski County softball coach Brad Gover at Buffalo Wings and Rings for the – actually, it's supposed to be a preseason show, but we're already underway. Off to a good start, Coach, 6-0?
So far, so good. Yeah, we've had some ups and downs, but we've been able to, pull the wins out so far.
I've looked at the roster a little bit. This is a veteran softball team.
Very veteran, yes. But we also have a good mixture of young talent as well. But, you can't overlook the seniors that we've got. We got great leadership. All 8 of them, can lead the team. So we're fortunate with that.
Softball, baseball, comes down to pitching.
We got
Where do we start?
Kaylee Strunk, she's the horse on the mound. She's going to be on the mound 99.9% of the time this year. Strong girl. She's gotten better and better every year. She's already thrown a no-hitter this year against Owensboro Catholic out at Elizabethtown, and then that team turns around and puts 7 runs up on Louisville Male.
Right.
An hour later. So, when she's on, she's on. She can control a game.
Behind the plate.
We got Riley Hull.
Enough said.
Yeah, you don't have to really, talk about her much. All you got to do is come watch her one time, and that's all you got. That's all you got to see. She's unbelievable talent.
Is she the leader on the field?
She's the leader on the field. Yes, everybody follows her. That's why I lead her off. Because she'll set the tone for about every game. It's tough to pitch to her, and yet some people kind of intentional walker, but then you're putting the best base runner in the state of Kentucky on the pad. So
go ahead.
Yeah, it's like, well, I'll take that as well.
All right, run around the infield for me.
Well, I got Riley Hull behind the plate.
Right.
Got Kaylee Strunk at the mound. Got Bella Ellis. She's a freshman. She's at first base. Tremendous hitter. I don't think there's anybody in the region that can hit it as hard as that girl. Got Chloe Carroll at second base, 7th grader. Unbelievable athleticism. One of the quickest girls that I've seen on the field of any game that we've played so far. And we was at Elizabethtown this last weekend, and the top teams in the state are there. You got Louisville Male and Henderson County and Assumption and South Warren and teams like that. And you can walk around the field and a 7th grader, and she can start for any of them. She can play for all of them. Then I got Gabby Countryman at shortstop, extremely, savvy player.
Been playing a while.
Yes, great hands. I've got her and her sister on the left side, and you won't find a left side as connected as that bunch. Obviously they're twins, and they can read each other like a book. They made some plays this year that, not even looking at each other. You don't have. It's something that you can't teach.
Right.
Their instincts are over and beyond, most girls their age. And then in the outfield, which I always, think outfield in high school softball is extremely important, and we found that out this past weekend as well. We got Dawn Wilson in left, Molly Nelson in center, and Abby Clevenger in right, and that is speed on top of speed on top of speed. We cover the gaps, chase balls down in foul territory. I truly believe that that's one of the best outfields in the state of Kentucky.
You mentioned the seniors, and you talked about the youth. You've got a freshman and a 7th grader and a sophomore out there as well. So, you're building for the future.
Yes.
How about depth?
We've got great depth. I've switched back and forth right now with the DP position and hitting. I've got Kaylin Conway, that's a junior, that can hit the ball out of the park at any moment. She didn't play last night in the Somerset game. She's gotten into a slump early on, so I've given her a rest and let an 8th grader, Ryan Souter, that moved in, take her reps a little bit at the plate the last 2 games. But then Kaylin steps in, and I told her, get some more reps in JV last night. And the first pitch that she sees, she hits it out of the park. So, you know, she's going to be getting more cuts at it as well. We've got tremendous speed on the bench. A few of the girls just need to learn, you know, the game a little more. But as far as athleticism and speed, something you can't teach, we've got that. It's one of the first years where we've been so deep at catcher and most of our positions that I can rotate girls and not skip a beat.
Well, with the way the schedule works, you know, day in and day out, a little rest, a little chance to watch is not a bad thing.
Oh, it's not a bad thing. And, you know, I've got one right now. I've got actually 4 catchers. One of them's got a broken hand. She broke her hand. Mackenzie Pinkston broke her hand in Elizabethtown. She can get back there and catch any game. Chloe Carroll is another Riley Hull behind the plate in the future. I mean,
that's a 7th grader.
That's a 7th grader. She can fill right in, and she's going to catch some games this year. And I'm telling you, if you're behind the plate and you see her catch, you're not going to see a big difference. And it's going to be great for Riley because I can rest her a little bit and put her in the field. And with the tournaments that we're in coming up, you know, we got Great Crossing, we got Scott County, we got Dixie Heights, we got McCracken County, all top-tier teams in the state. Chloe's going to be getting, you know, she's going to be getting some balls thrown to her behind the plate. That's for sure.
And you mentioned several of those teams that you're going to play with the senior bunch that you've got. Did you schedule a little differently than you normally would?
Well, not really, because if you can ask anybody that I'm around all day, I like to play the toughest teams in the state. I seek out the top 10 teams. I'll bug them to death saying, let me come and play you. You can come to me. That's one thing I want to do is I tell my girls, I say, look, you know, I'll go 15-15. I really don't care. I want to go and I want to face the best competition that we can face, win or lose. Because, you know, you lose, you're going to learn something.
That's how you get better.
And if you win, then you just get your respect that you're looking for. But, no, we were supposed to play Male this past weekend, and it got rained out, which, you know, they were on a 45-game win streak. The next game that they won was going to be the state record in consecutive wins, and we were wanting to
be there.
We was wanting to be the team to knock them off, and I really think that we would have.
We are at Buffalo Wings and Rings, $1.29. Chicken tender night, currently no wait. Buffalo Wings and Rings on South Highway 27. I'm Paul Wright with Pulaski County softball coach Brad Gover. You and I talked about COVID a little bit before we came on. How hard was it to miss last year?
It was really hard. I know we went over to Barron County to play our first scrimmage, and we had heard about the pandemic that was coming, but we didn't really take it as serious as, and I'm sure everybody wasn't. Like, are you kidding? We're not going to lose the season. And then we heard the World Series was canceled, softball, and all that college sports was finished, and then it started, you know,
trickling down.
This is not good. But we had went over to Barron and got our first scrimmage in, and Barron was the number 2 team in that region behind Warren East.
Right.
And we went over there and we beat up on them, beat them 9-3, and I knew then, you know, we're going to be really good this year. And we're missing a girl from back then, Holly Barron. Mm-hmm. She broke her foot in the summer, and she's still not gotten over that. And that's a top 3 or 4 hitter that's on the team that we don't have right now.
Right.
And I think in that scrimmage against the girl that's going Division I from Barron, she was 3 for 3 with a double, a single, and a home run that game. So people don't realize that, you know, I've got a top 3 or 4 hitter sitting on the bench in a cast right now that can possibly be back before the year's over, I'm hoping. But it would help a lot. But, yeah, that was my daughter's senior year.
Yeah.
And that's what really, you know, it was tough.
Right. You talked about the senior leadership. Having that, does it help your team get back in the groove and get focused?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's always easy if you've got eight seniors like we got and experienced seniors like we have. They've all been playing for
a long time.
Yeah, they've been playing for a long time. They're all travel ball players. They've started at the varsity level most of them since their sophomore year, and you know, and then with a girl like Riley behind the plate that, you know, that directs the traffic of what's going on the field. It's pretty easy, you know. And it's just like this year, I've always called my own pitches.
Right.
When Kristen Wilson was playing, even up to this year with Kaylee, I always wanted control of calling my own pitches.
Sure.
Well, those duties have went to Riley. That's how much trust I've gotten her,
Right.
and it's worked out so far. But I've told her, I said, you're on a short leash because that's something that I love doing.
Right.
But it has helped us, I think, as far as defensive, you know, that I can focus on the girls in the field and actually coach the game a little more
Right.
than just sitting there focusing on just the pitches.
How hungry is this softball team?
They're very hungry. That's all they talk about. We got to win the district. We got to get to region. We got to win the region. That's all we talk about. That's anything less is not going to be. We're not going to be good with anything less.
So
that's for sure.
And again, it goes back to that schedule. If you're playing quality competition all season,
yes,
when you get to tournament time, you're ready.
Yes, and I think, you know, when you've got a really good team, that competition really helps when it comes postseason. If you've got an average team, even though you're getting beat most games playing that competition, you're still going to be better.
You're learning things.
Whenever you get to postseason, they're going to pick up on things, and you know that they're going to have to fight or they're going to get blown off the field. I mean, it's one or the other, and they know what kind of scheduling. And some of them have asked, well, when we leave next year, are you still going to schedule? Yeah, I'm going to schedule that way. You know, this year we may win 28 games.
Right.
But next year we may win 15, but we're going to play the same. We're going to play the same people.
Watching high school, watching at this level, baseball, softball, what have you, how important is it that you throw strikes?
It's very important. Very important. You know, and it depends on what kind of pitcher you have. A lot of teams at this level like to start off first pitch strikes.
Right.
And that's what we look for.
Sure.
Our hitters are good enough to where, you know, throw us a strike first pitch, we're going to hit it. But with someone like Kaylee, we can start you off 2-0. We can move the ball around and keep you honest. It is important to start off ahead and throw strikes, but then again, with the competition that we're playing, it's not always good to throw that first pitch strike or
right down the middle.
throw the ball over the plate like that because those girls can hit. They can hit really well.
You talked about speed. And again, how important is that as far as putting pressure on the defense?
It's extremely important. And I've learned that from playing the teams that we played. Now, this year we went, you know, I've got a girl, for instance, Dawn Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably, and I'll go ahead and say I think she's a top 5 player in the region, without a doubt.
All right.
She's batting 9th. You know, and a lot of people think, if she's that good, why is she batting 9th? Well, she's not as good as Riley Hull.
Right.
Okay? And that everybody knows that. Riley Hull's the best player in the state of Kentucky. Well, you got your number 9 hitter that's got a 750 on base percentage this year already, batting 760. When you got someone like that you know is going to get on base, and you got Riley coming up next, and then after Riley, I got Chloe Carroll that's a speed demon. Until you see her, it's like you just can't keep up with her watching. And then I got Molly Nelson right after her. So I've got 9, 1, 2, 3 that is as fast as anybody in the state. Not in the region, in the state. It causes havoc for the defense because Dawn, Molly, Chloe, and Riley, they can lay bunts down. They can beat them out. They can slap it, beat them out, or they can hit the ball to the fence, just like Dawn last night drove one to the wall and with a triple slapping. So, you know, it goes a long way.
Basically, when you get to 9-1, you've got 2 leadoff hitters.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Dawn could be a leadoff or a 2 hitter, but where she's at now, it's a perfect fit because after the first inning's over, that's all wash out anyway.
Sure.
Because when the game's on the line, who's usually up at the end of the game? 8-9-1 or something like that. Well, my 8 and 9 is as good as my 1 and 2 almost. So that's where we're fortunate. That's where we're going to beat teams this year is because our 6, 7, 8, and 9 hitters are as good as their 1, 2, 3, and 4 hitters.
And you get Dawn on at the bottom, they have to pitch to Riley.
they have to pitch to Riley. and it's like I said,
there's a method to this madness.
If you don't pitch to her, then go ahead and put her on. Then I've got 2 unbelievable base runners on,
right.
and I got Chloe Carroll. Yeah, she's a 7th grader, but she's got some pop. She's already hit it out at Lincoln County, first game of the season, one of the bigger fields that we play at in the region. Hits the ball out, and Chloe's batting over 600. So she's hitting 2 and 3 hits a game, not little dinkers. I mean, she's hitting ropes. So pick your poison.
As a coach, how much time do you spend on base running?
Well, we've spent quite a bit of running. We have laid off a little bit because the last time that we ran base running or worked on base running and sliding, one of my players broke her ankle. So
yeah, I
canceled it,
right.
and that was like 3 days ago.
Right.
So we're going to kind of put that on the back burner for a while, and I'm just going to trust my seniors and the girls that can run. It's really not a lot of – we don't really have to work at it as much as you would think because they've got such a knowledge for the game.
Right.
That I just tell them, hey, be players on the field. Just do what you know you can do, and I trust you.
Speed in the outfield cuts down damage on your pitcher.
Yes, and you can ask Kaylee that. When you go catch balls in the gap, when you go catch long foul balls, those are huge. And last night, over at Somerset, we had 2 drop that we have caught all year long so far. And they know, what they've done. They're supposed to find the fence, come and get it, because they're quick enough, on a long fly ball. We're quick enough to run to the fence, find it, and then come up and catch it. And the things that we done last night were a little uncharacteristic, and I think it was because it's a district rival game,
sure.
and which we talked about that today, and that'll be fixed from here on.
That's one of those situations where it's a district, where it's Somerset, and Mike Kerr and I have talked about it. They will remember those from now on.
Oh, yeah.
So there's might be a little bit of self-pressure put in those things.
Oh, yeah. They tried to be perfect, and that's when they mess up. If they just go and play, and I've always told them, don't put the name on the jersey. Just forget about that.
Right.
Just go play your game, and everything will be fine.
We are at Buffalo Wings and Rings, $1.29 chicken tender night. Currently no wait. Buffalo Wings and Rings on South Highway 27. As a coach, would you rather have a speed team? Would you rather have a power team? I'm sure everybody wants 50-50. Which would you prefer to have?
Well, it would be nice to have both. It would be nice to have the speed of the Molly, Dawn, Chloe, and Riley, and then the power of Bella and those girls and Kaylee, and just combine it all. But this year's team, we've got really the perfect mixture. I mean, the end and the beginning of our lineup is total speed plus power. I mean, you got Riley batting first that can hit the ball out at
anywhere.
Pitch. It doesn't, it's very dangerous to throw to her. And then after you get through the 3, you got Bella that can hit the ball 350 feet. I mean, I've never seen such shots that she hits. And then we've got Vicky Countryman. She can hit the ball out, and she's been hot lately. I mean, hitting the ball in the gaps. Then you got Kaylee Strunk. I think she's got 2 or 3 home runs on the year so far. Hit one last night. Then you got Gabby. She likes to find the gaps. She'll dink balls here and there. She's got great hands. And then we've got, right after that, you've got Ryan Souter. You got Kaylin Conway. That, Kaylin can hit the ball out at any given moment. And then you're back to Dawn, and, it's just a gauntlet. Our lineup is speed, power, but the most thing I like about it is all the girls got such great hands and eyes that when we swing, we're going to hit it. I think we've got like 11, maybe 12 total strikeouts this year so far, and that's one of the things that we're going to focus on. Just put the ball in play.
Well, part of your job then is just sit in the lineup and stand out of the way.
Yes, and I've told them, we're going to change it quite a bit, but right now I kind of like where it's at. It's tough when you've got players like that. It's tough figuring that lineup out because you can go a million different ways. But right now, I'm kind of satisfied with where it's at.
Good luck.
All right, I appreciate it.
That's Pulaski County softball coach Brad Gover. We're at Buffalo Wings and Rings, and just trade places with Mr. Mayfield there, and we'll go from there. Appreciate you, sir.
Thank you.
Again, $1.29 chicken tender night here at Buffalo Wings and Rings. Currently no wait. South Highway 27. We have drawn a crowd here tonight. I'm getting ready to get Kent Mayfield, Pulaski County's baseball coach, in the hot seat, and we will discuss baseball. How's it going, young man? Grab your stuff. It has turned into a interesting night. I took the dog out earlier and just got wet, so I hope that, no, you don't. I hope that's over. Get mic'd up here and be ready to go. Yep, that's you. Pulaski County. Again, we do preseason shows, but because of the way things fall and what have you, we're into the season a week or so. Pulaski will come in 4-4. If you can't see any better than I can, you'll have to have the glasses. How are you?
Doing well.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Happy to be back.
So back into the saddle. How's it going?
It's going well. I'm having a lot of fun. I guess the biggest thing is I was a lot younger man when I did this.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, a few years ago. But we got a great group of guys, and it's been a lot of fun.
Again, 4-4 this season. I tell you what, let's get started with how you've played so far and who you've used. Let's talk about your pitching staff.
Okay. Well, we've played. You have to be careful when you look at our record.
Right.
If that's the only measuring stick you're using, of course we're not happy about being 500. We feel like we're a better team than that. But we're certainly not unhappy with the way we've played. We've played some quality opponents and played them on the road. And in two of those contests, one inning was the difference.
Sure.
And that speaks a lot for our young team. They're coming around. As far as pitchers go, you saw one of them last night, Caleb Adams.
Right.
He anchors our staff. He's obviously got the most experience on a varsity level. He's a very smart pitcher. That's my favorite thing about him. Every pitch he throws has a purpose. And when he's got command and we're playing good defense behind him, he's really tough to beat. Also throwing the ball really well this year is Chance Todd, the sophomore. I like his pace. He's got great stuff. He pitches with a lot of emotion, a lot of energy. He's young. He has some things to learn, but he's super talented. On the mound after that, I would say that Braden Hampton has been not a surprise, but certainly a welcome addition. Again, a freshman, has wonderful stuff, just not a lot of experience. And as confidence comes for that young man, the sky's the limit. He, too, is a very smart pitcher. Sometimes that can work against you a little bit.
As a youngster, yes.
Yeah.
Are you thinking too much?
Right. And I remember after one of his bullpens, I remember talking to him and telling him, you're young, you're on a team that you're going to get an opportunity to pitch. Have fun with it.
Right.
Don't carry the weight of this season or carry the weight of every win on those shoulders. Relax and have fun and enjoy it and learn. And he has. And he's super talented. We've got lots of other guys who are working their arms into shape for basketball. You can see my list here of all the pitchers. Owen Alexander has had some relief performances this year. Of course, you saw Trey Hornsby throw last night.
Right.
He's another young guy with a tremendous arm. He's had some great outings for us this year, and probably going to work his way into starting some games for us. Great upside. He's got great stuff. A lot of run on his fastball. Good pop. But also young and has some things to learn. Guys, Sean Simpson's a senior. He's battled an injury. We can talk more about that later. He's been throwing some in the bullpen, looking really good. Jalen Coomer, left-hander, coming in from basketball, is working himself into shape to throw. Brady Kane has been on the mound several times for us this year. He pounds the strike zone, and as a coach, you love that. He has good stuff, and he's fearless. He'll pitch against anybody, anytime. Jacob Todd, young guy, great arm, great upside. Bryson Duggar threw last night in JV. Had really good stuff last night. He said he felt really good. He's going to work his way into varsity innings. Jace Fry, another big kid, throws the ball well. He's going to work his way into varsity innings. Wesson Phelan, he started the JV game last night. He's been battling a little bit of a back problem, but he has tremendous upside, not only on the mound, but as a position player too. Right. Marshall Livesey has been kind of a JV ace this year. He's got a lot of innings, and he's got a huge upside for him as well. Mason Acton, who's catching for us right now, he's also very talented on the mound. You just have to be really careful when you have a pitcher who's also catches a lot of innings.
Right.
Working from there, Keegan Measle has probably the most innings in JV this year. He's one of the classic rubber arms. I ask him each time after he throws, Keegan, are you sore? No, sir, I'm ready to go. That's the biggest part, the biggest portion of our pitchers.
Okay. Take me around your starting infield.
Well, okay. I guess I'll start at first base.
Okay.
Aiden Wesley plays over there. He hurt his shoulder during football, as everyone knows. He's working his way back. He's in rehab. He's going to physical therapy. Of course, he's hitting for us, but Marshall Livesey's starting there defensively. Aiden's been hitting for him, not all the time, but a lot of the time. But, Braden Hampton, Jacob Todd, Jalen Coomer, Connor Phelps, all those guys can play first, and they do a really good job. At Pulaski, we don't have second basemen and shortstops. We have middle infielders.
Okay.
All of these guys can play either spot, shortstop or second, starting with, Caleb Adams, Hunter Petrie, Cameron Hargis, who got the start last night at short, very talented, Bryson Duggar, Will Blankenship, Chance Todd has played quite a bit of shortstop for us this year. Wesson Phelan has played. He's a name you're going to hear a lot because he can play so many different positions as a young guy. And then there's Mason, Catron. He's in a boot right now. He's hurt himself.
Right.
He's injured. It's unfortunate. We've had some injuries this year, and Mason hurt his knee, and he has some damage, and he's trying to work through that.
Right.
If you move over to third base, Dallas Davis has played a lot of innings there for us this year. Chance Todd, again, Wesson Phelan, really good young third baseman, along with Jace Fry, Connor Phelps. Mason Acton can come out from behind the plate and play some third. Jacob Todd is our JV catcher, but and he's embraced that role, but he's a very good third baseman, a very good first baseman. But he understands that our JV team needs a catcher, and he's ready to do it, and he's very good. Very talented kid. Trey Hornsby can play third base. Hunter Petrie can scoot over and play third base as well.
would it be safe to say that one of the strengths of your baseball team is versatility?
Yes, and you know, I've been asked a lot. You know, people always like to know, well, how does this team compare to this team, that team from way back when? And I will say that this is the most athletic team that I've ever coached. Now, I've coached kids that are better athletes. I'm talking about holistically. As a group, this is the best group of athletes that I've coached. And like you pointed out, I've got names on this sheet multiple times in multiple places, and I wouldn't blink an eye to play them there. And, you know, as a coach, you can't ask for much more.
We'll get to the outfielders in a minute. Where does the leadership – I know you've only got a couple seniors. Where does the leadership on this team come from?
Well, it does come from Sean and from Caleb. Sean, like I said earlier, it was our second practice outside, and, you know, I was throwing batting practice, and doing it as long as I've been doing it, I could hear the silence.
Right.
It's eerie. So as I'm throwing, I turn around and I see we have a guy down, and it was Sean. He's one of our seniors. He has a quad injury. 6 weeks he was battling that thing. I mean, he continued to practice, very, very limited. Some days were better than others, but through it all, he's been a leader. He goes about his business as best he can with his injury. He's back now. We're easing him back into things. You don't have a 6-week injury and just, you know, I know he's
step right out there and go back to work.
And you have to. I told him the other day. I said, you know, sometimes a coach has to protect the player from himself. You know, and but Sean's been a great leader. Caleb obviously has the most experience as far as playing time as a senior, and is our leader. But other guys, you know, Aiden Wesley. Is a leader. He's very vocal, very positive. He gets guys going. Dallas Davis, also very positive young man. Always getting the guys going, getting the guys focused. You know, I would say those guys would be the most vocal.
Okay.
But there's a lot of leaders, young leaders that you can see coming.
Right.
And that's very impressive. One that kind of stands out is Mason Acton. He is a freshman, but he's a catcher. He's very mature. He's very smart. And he knows the game of baseball, loves the game of baseball, and is a blossoming leader. And I'm glad he has guys like Caleb and Sean to learn and look up to. And you know, Chance Todd has the ability to be a leader for us also. And there's other guys on here too. As the year goes on, I mean, we still are very young in the season.
Right.
A lot of that leadership will probably come out in some other guys as well.
Okay. All right. Talk to me about those outfielders.
Well, our outfield is really anchored by Owen Alexander.
Okay.
He's a junior. He's a center fielder. He gets as good a jump on a baseball as anybody. He's got a great arm. He's one I could have mentioned as a leader too, but he is a quiet leader. And what I mean by that is if the younger guys are watching him, Owen's going to be doing the right things. He's going to be hustling. He's going to be working hard during drills. He's going to be saying and doing the right things. Again, Brady Kane is playing right field for us now. He does a great job, has a good arm. Barrick Williams, you know, unbelievable athlete.
Yes.
Playing some left field. Jamison Coomer is our center fielder for JV. He's got a big time upside for him. Braden Hampton plays out there. Connor Denny, Barron White, another kid who's got a shoulder injury, would be playing a lot more if his shoulder wasn't hurt. Connor Denny, like I said, Bryson Duggar is a kid that, you know, I think he's played 4 or 5 positions already this year, and again, he's just a good athlete. You can pretty much play him like a lot of these guys wherever you need to. Jace Fry's a young kid who I mentioned earlier at third base and first base. He can also play the outfield. One of our faster guys, if not the fastest guy on our team. Wesson Phelan could play out there. Again, he's just a good athlete, hard worker. Keegan Measle plays outfield. West Hammock plays outfield as well. He's battling an injury to his back, but he is an outfielder. And a lot of the guys that I have mentioned that play infield who maybe haven't played outfield yet could play outfield.
Right.
We're fortunate in that respect. There's just a lot of athletic ability and a lot of versatility on this baseball team.
I asked Brad Gover a question. I'm going to ask you the same thing. After missing a season, how hungry is this baseball team?
Well, extremely hungry. I've been really proud of that because, again, you've mentioned it. You know, we have 2 seniors. We only have 8 upperclassmen total. So the vast majority of our guys are young, but they are hungry. You know, we went at it really hard in preseason. We practiced long and we practiced hard, and the guys were ready to play. They had a year off, and then all this preseason work, which was a longer preseason than normal.
Right.
They're extremely hungry, and you know, the best thing I can say is we're getting better every day.
You mentioned the seniors and the lack of upperclassmen, only 2 seniors and a few juniors. How much potential has this team got between now and tournament time?
Well, that's the most exciting thing. As
a coach, are you sitting there going, "It's coming"? You know.
Yeah, and we talk. You know, my coaches. You know, we talk that language with them. I made a comment the other day. You know, I'm getting tired of referring to them as a young team, just because they're talented.
Right.
And I don't want them to use that as a crutch or as an excuse. And I've asked my coaches, and I'm trying not to do that. But, you know, situations come up to where it is a sign of youth. It is a youth thing. But they are very, very talented. And I think by the end of the year we're going to be a really good baseball team.
Do you set goals with your team before the season starts or not?
We have we had a strange preseason, aside from COVID. It's just
right.
You know, we didn't have our full complement, our full team together, but just a day or 2 before the season.
Right.
Our goal at Pulaski County, since Gilbert Wilson was my coach, all the way through, you know, Scott McInich, all the way up through Danny Mass and Josh, it's always compete for a region tournament, and it's been that way, and it will continue to be that way. So as far as goals, we did set goals on getting 1% better every day.
That'll work.
And we set goals to compete for a region championship this year.
Appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate your time and the energy, and it's always nice to hear coaches talk about everybody on the roster, not just, okay, this guy or that guy's really good.
Yeah.
You mentioned, you know, because it's a team thing.
It is a team thing, and every one of these guys I've mentioned has worked hard, and they all can play this game, and they all can play. And I tell them that, you know, we've got guys who can play this game. And one last thing, if you don't mind, before I go, I'd like to mention my coaches. They have to put up with me, and they work extremely hard. You know, Kellen Jones has been with the program for a very long time. Jacob Denny played for me years ago. Tanner Bell, who is new to our area, has just been a wonderful help, and Brian Minyard has really opened our eyes to the strength and conditioning side of things and has been a great help. And I just wanted to mention those guys because I appreciate them so much.
No problem. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That's Kent Mayfield, the baseball coach at Pulaski County High School. I'm Paul Wright. This is LakeCumberlandSports.com. It is Chicken Tender Night, $1.29 at Buffalo Wings and Rings here on South Highway 27. currently no wait, stop on by. We've had people coming and going all night long, getting a pile as well. We appreciate it, sir. Thank you. All righty. We'll be seeing you down the road, Coach.
Yes, sir.
All right. see who's gonna come over here and take this chair next. You the man? All right. Going to turn it over to Bob Boone, and he's got one more guest.
Coach Fisher.
Hey, Bob. Do you care to do our Buffalo Wings and Rings special?
What you got? All right. This whole time you've been live. We didn't kill nothing, so I don't want to make you nervous or anything, but anyway. Welcome back to Buffalo Wings and Rings on South Highway 27 right here in Somerset, Kentucky, just across from the Somerset Mall. And before I go anywhere, if you're hungry, get down here to Buffalo Wings and Rings. $1.29 chicken tender night, and there's no wait right now. Buffalo Wings and Rings, come on in, get your food ordered. And it has been a great night. And to close out the show, we have kind of a new treat, a little twist on our softball and baseball seasons, because we are joined now by Alan Fisher, head coach of the Somerset Christian Cougars.
Yes, sir.
Girls softball team, and we have added them to our broadcast schedule this year, and we're going to be doing a couple of games, and I think we just worked out a deal. We're going to be there night after tomorrow, so Friday night you're going to be at home. I guess it's going to be your first home game?
Yes, sir. It'll be our first home game.
All right. Well, appreciate you joining us, Coach Fisher. I've known you for a long time, and I didn't know that you and I would ever be sitting at a table to talk girls high school softball. And first of all, congratulations, man. This is exciting. It's got to be for you.
Yeah, we're excited. This is my, I think, 7th year at Somerset Christian, but it's our first year of making the jump to KHSAA. So, you know, we're fully aware it's going to be a challenge, and but we're excited about it. We're excited to get to know some of the local teams and travel less, which is a big win for us. And so we're excited about the season.
Indeed. And of course, we were able to carry a boys basketball game, SCS. And just so folks know, you guys have joined the Kentucky High School Athletic Association. Now, it's my understanding you have to compete for 2 years. Is that right? Before you can actually compete for a district/regional and, you know,
yes, sir. Yeah.
The state championship.
Now, there is a KCAC tournament. Because there was ourselves, and then there were several other Christian schools that made the jump as well. That used to be in the KCAA. That was where we used to play. So they're giving us a sort of like an all-A.
Okay.
So we'll get together in a few weeks and play them on a Saturday, so we can compete in that. But yeah, for 2 years we're out of the regional tournaments and those things.
All right. School's growing, athletic programs going, and we're glad and just honored to be working with y'all. And you guys got the right colors. You know, we're in the green, and you got the green, so sounds very good. And, yeah, we're going to be out there, I believe, opening pitch 6 o'clock
yes, sir.
On Friday. We're going to be there right here on Lake Cumberland Sports broadcasting that game. There'll be a lot of excitement in the air, and congratulations on the jump. But now let's get down to brass tacks, because you guys got work to do to get this team ready. Have you had any games yet this season?
We've played 2 so far. We've played at Clinton and at Wayne. And so, yeah, we do have a lot of work ahead of us. You know, high school runs about, I think we're about 78 students, 80 students in the high school. So numerically we're at a disadvantage. And then not having a team last year really hurt us, because we're a smaller school and we're trying to develop players. I mean, we have some girls. I started a girl, maybe even more than one, in the first game against Clinton County. That was her first ever game they played in.
Wow.
And so we're starting them in a high school game. So we really need that time to develop and grow. And so we're excited about that. I know my first year when we started coaching at Somerset Christian, you know, we were really probably one of the weaker teams in our league. And so that kind of motivated me to be there. My daughter was on the team at the time, and so I'm like, hey, listen, we can do better than this. And so we got to work, and then our last couple of years in the league, we beat every team in our league at one of those 2 seasons, had a competitive team. So now it's kind of like we're going back. Now we're going to be at a distinct disadvantage again and starting over a little bit. So I know we got a lot of work to do, but on the work side, but I mean, we don't have any illusions of, hey, we're going to come out here and roll right off the start. We know that we have a tough road ahead of us, but we're going to put the work in and see what God has for us. And I asked the girls 2 things. I said, just bring me your attitude and effort, and that's the foundation of our program, our culture, and we'll grow from there.
I had shared with Coach Gover of the Southwestern boys baseball team that I don't like to wish coaches or players good luck. I think luck's where preparation meets opportunity, but I always do say have fun. And exactly. I know that's, one of the things that I know you, so I know you guys are having some fun.
We're going to, right? I told the girls, hey, listen, we're going to spend a ton of time together over the next few months, and so I'm going to have a good time. I'm not going to dread coming to practice. I'm not going to dread spending time with us. I said, so let's relax, we have a good time. So every Monday we start off with a Cheesy Joke Monday. Awesome. So all the girls bring a terrible joke, and we'll share that, and then we start, every practice off with prayer and end every practice with prayer. So we're just going to have a good time. I said, hey, listen, we're going to spend the time together, so let's at least enjoy it.
Sounds good to me. Can I participate in that dumb joke thing?
Yes, sir.
I'm the king of dad jokes.
I
got grandchildren that just groan every time I tell one. They just
give me your best one.
All right, I can't come up with one off the top of my head. That's a problem right now. Okay.
All right, here
it is. Do you know where the Lone Ranger takes his garbage?
I do not.
To the dump, to the dump, to the dump, dump, dump.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'll use that one Monday night. Man.
There you go.
I'll use that one.
So anyway, let's get back to we rabbit hole.
Hey, Bob,
I'm known for that. Yes.
Do you know why you don't see elephants hiding in trees?
Don't know.
Because they're really good at it. That's my worst one. Sorry. All right.
Well, I think you're going to see Pat and I on Friday night. So guess what? He supplies me with all of mine. So anyway, all right. Let's talk softball a little bit. You got a young team. Let's talk about those girls that make up this squad.
Yeah, very young team. We have no seniors this season, and we only have 3 juniors. So we're pretty much 10th grade and down. And we're going to start several middle school girls as well. So, yeah, we're definitely a young team.
Nothing wrong with that. You've got the opportunity. I think back to when I first started playing golf, and I told my dad's buddy, I said, I don't know anything about it. He said, that's good. You've not learned any bad habits.
That's true.
So, all right, go through your roster a little bit. Talk to us about who you got on the squad.
Right. Well, we got 3 juniors that are our oldest players on the team, and a couple of awesome sophomores as well. So Aaliyah Edens is kind of one of our multiple-year players. She started for us for several years at center field. Really fast. Just she's been batting leadoff for us for probably 3 years, and so because she is so good with her lateral quickness, we've moved her in from the outfield into the infield. So she's going to play third base for us. And then Cassie York come out from volleyball and is going to play some infield for us. Maddie Merrick's played multiple years, and she's an awesome kid. And then sophomore class, we got Kristen Edwards. She's our catcher, and she's great. I mean, she needs to be because our pitching is our weakness at this point, but she works hard, really fast, so she always bats second for us. So we got those 2 really fast girls there at the top. And so those girls are some of our leaders. And then, we got some new players coming. Lydia Fisher has got a little bit of playing time. And she's one of my favorite kids, Bob.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You do show favoritism?
Yeah, well,
okay.
I can say that publicly. Yeah, no. So, but she's played a little bit and sometimes. And then Emily Estep's playing center field for us, and she's really shown a lot of potential out there. She's fast. And then we got some other girls that are kind of coming out, playing some outfield for us. Michaela Keith's played some outfield. Gracie Dow's played some outfield. And then Olivia. Then we got 3 girls that are on the volleyball team, middle school. So we're working on that schedule. I got a new girl that came out named Mia Dauberton, and she's playing some left field for us. And then we got a 7th grader that's going to start shortstop, but she shows a ton of potential. It's Abby White-Scarver.
Okay.
And she's come out.
She's a legacy. I believe she had a sister that played a little softball.
Yeah, I may have heard
back
that.
in the day.
Yeah,
yes.
No pressure on her, right?
No.
But and her parents push her, and she works hard. And so she's coming out and playing some shortstop for us. And then Olivia Keith's going to come out and play some outfield as well. And then we actually got a couple of younger students, too, that are coming to practices and are going to be the framework of our team going forward.
Okay. Anybody else we need to mention? You got any coaching help?
I do. Coach Anthony Edens, it's Leah's father. He comes and helps out. And then the White Scrubbers have been a big help to us this season. It's Abby's first year playing with us. And so I think they're in transition with housing right now. So it's working out great for me because they have this free time that they're spending on the field.
All right.
And so I asked them, I said, so I feel guilty that I hope your house doesn't close anytime soon, that you can still hang out with us here and that stuff. So, yeah, so we got those guys. And then, we got several girls in pitching lessons every week, so that's going to help us. And then so Sydney Foreman helps out with those girls. We have 2 or 3 girls right now in lessons. And then, like I said, we got some younger girls coming up, Caroline Mounts, and then Reagan Childers is going to be absolutely awesome. And so she's going to be a pitcher for us down the road. So, yeah, but that's pretty much our coach staff right now. So we're really trying to make a lot of upgrades on our facilities. We work on the field a lot. We have some steps poured and install the sound system so you guys can be there. And so just listen, man, we love the school. And there's, the spiritual component is there. Man, I love that my kids have chapel and our students have Bible class. I think it's great. Academically, the school is great. The ACT scores are good. And so now I think making the jump to KSSAA will help us even retain, middle school, high school students because there's no advantage to leaving.
Right.
But before we had some long bus rides, 3 hours on sometimes playing games. And then and not the same exposure. Like, this is our first year here. So I think this will level the field as far as our athletes. We can offer them the same exposure and opportunities that every student gets in Pulaski County. So we're excited about that.
When I talked to Coach Jared Sumner at Southwestern, and he had mentioned to me that, he's tried to help you guys out a little bit, maybe get you, even if it's an extra couple softballs every now and then or whatever.
He's been a huge help
and
to
I'm
us.
going to tell you what he did is he made a pitch for your squad. He said if there's anybody out there that is wanting to help sponsor a sports team, he recommended get in touch with the folks at Somerset Christian. You guys could use because you are starting brand new and you don't have a lot of extra funding and starting from scratch is tough, and I get it.
I agree. Well, I owe him big time, but he has been a huge blessing to me. Of course, I know him personally, and so he's a friend of mine. So they're going to bring their JV over and play us here in a few weeks as well. So I was like, hey, listen, man, be merciful, be kind, And so he's like, hey, that's great, man. I'll send my JV over. It'll be a good experience for them and good experience for our girls to play some players that they know. I know my daughter's got a ton of friends on their team. So yeah, that's been a blessing. And then I know that our parents have a financial commitment to come to our school.
Sure. And
so it's hard for me to try to ask them to give money to that. So we're trying to do those to make the improvements on our field that we want to make.
Indeed. And I don't know what the weather forecast is for Friday, but I know I love doing baseball and softball, and I love the game of girls fast pitch softball. A lot of folks say, well, baseball is kind of long and it drags out and it can be boring. Girls fast pitch softball just flat out moves.
It does.
And I tell you what, I had mentioned too that, I admire third basemen in this game because they stand sometimes 40 and 50 feet away from a batted ball that comes off that bat pretty hot.
Right. I make all our infielders wear masks because of that. My daughter pitches, so she's within 39 feet of the plate, So my oldest daughter played at Somerset Christian. That's how we started getting involved. Head coach quit in the middle of the season, and I was just kind of helping out. And they're like, "Hey, can you finish the year and stuff?" They found out I had a CDL license, so I was driving the bus, and I was coaching first base. And
you waved for them to bring you a hot dog, and the next thing you knew, you were the volunteer.
And I'll be honest, Bob. The first game I coached, we just got absolutely destroyed. And I'm a little bit competitive, and so it bothered me so much that I was like, I'm not going to leave till we beat that team. And so that's been 6-7 years ago, and we did sweep them last time we played them in the season. But so anyway, fell in love with the game. I love being outside. I love working with students. I've been a youth pastor for 25 years, and so I love working with students. And I love being outside in the spring. And the girls softball is good. We take our girls every year to go to UK and watch the games, and it is so fast. To me, it's more fun to watch than even baseball because it moves so much quicker.
It is a fascinating game. We've talked about your players, your coaches, anybody else there you need to mention, and I also want to talk about your assistant staff that works from the home. They say behind every great man. Mm-hmm. And especially when you're in the coach, because it does take a lot of your time.
Yes. Now we've got – of course, my wife Steph is super with that stuff. I coached my oldest daughter through, and now got Lydia playing, and so she's just very understanding with that. And She's like, just give me a schedule so I know where you're at. And so we're thankful for that. I'm really thankful for Mel, who's the athletic director at Somerset Christian.
Fantastic. She treated us like kings and queens when we were out there. Well, kings, I guess.
Yeah, she runs wears so many hats down there. And, so of course, she's a personal friend of mine, but she is absolutely awesome. I call her what we need, and she says, go get it. And so very, very appreciative of that. And I'm thankful for Oak Hill Baptist Church, because they let me leave and go practice and go to games and all those things. They're like, hey, listen, man, you work with students and you're working with students here, so have at it. So I'm very appreciative of that.
So it's also, not just you're not just a minister or a pastor, a youth pastor, leader, but now you're ministering in a different form, and over the time, and I've kind of dabbled in that a little bit myself. I know ministers aren't just behind a pulpit,
right?
So I appreciate everything you do there, and I know you've had a lot of great kids come out of your program at Oak Hill, but also through this school and Somerset Christian.
We've been very blessed. I made a deal with them. I said, here's the deal. I said, I'm not going to yell at you, and you can't cry. That's our pact. Is like I said, I am not a yeller by nature. We're going to have a good time, but you can't cry on me. That's the thing. So,
okay. Well, that sounds like a pretty good bargain.
It does. So
has it worked out so far?
It's worked out pretty well. Well. So I think they're having a good time. I don't think they're going to tell you that I'm a tyrant. We have a good time.
All right. Well, he's Alan Fisher, head coach of Somerset Christian Cougars girls softball team, and we're going to be there Friday night to broadcast that game for you right here on Lake Cumberland Sports. So be sure and check that out if you will, and make sure you tell all your folks to, bring their phones and their earbuds.
All right.
And we'll have the game. We'll be about 3 seconds behind the action on the field, but that's okay too. We are at Buffalo Wings and Rings on South Highway 27 here in Somerset, and $1.29 chicken tenders. Now, I've got $8 or $9 in my pocket, so if I do the math right, that'll cover a few of them.
I'm the last one, right?
Yeah.
So that means we can go eat now.
We can.
And Pat can buy.
Pat's buying. All right. Sounds like awesome. A winner. All right.
Hey, Bob, we appreciate you guys inviting us, and I got the text from Kevin inviting us, and so we're thankful for that. And our girls are nervous, but super excited to know that they're going to be on the radio, man. So it's a big deal for them. So thank you guys very much for investing in them and the sports and the teams in our community. Thank you very much.
Well, we appreciate it. Just tell them to have fun.
Yes, sir.
That's going to do it. This is wrapping things up here from Buffalo Wings and Rings. But guess what? They're still serving food, so get on down here. And we appreciate everybody. Appreciate Buffalo Wings and Rings and all the folks there for treating us like gold. And we look forward to a great baseball and softball season, and Lake Cumberland Sports, that's where it's at. We cover all the schools as often as we can. So long, everybody. Have a great night.